Chapter 474. As soon as North Vanquishing Prince finished speaking, he formed a seal with his hands. On his wrinkled face, a rune light gushed out from between his eyebrows, instantly bursting out with a dazzling light like the bright moon. Then it illuminated the entire space like morning dew, emitting a faint, icy aura. Walala! Du Xiaofu's gaze was fixed on the dazzling rune between North Vanquishing Prince's eyebrows. That dazzling rune light was like a painting in the void being pulled open in front of him. Then a large amount of rune light fluctuated, causing the space to walala sound. It was obscure and profound, and finally enveloped the space, including Du Xiaofu. His vision blurred, and Du Xiaofu seemed to have appeared in an unfamiliar space. Then he realized that this space was actually the imperial capital, Dragon City, right outside the Du Palace. But at this time, the space around him was rippling with a mysterious fluctuation, isolating a large area of space outside, only enveloping the huge Du Palace. Outside the Du Palace, there were many ferocious birds and beasts standing in the air. There were ferocious Cheong, Chi-Kama-Bas that sounded like a drum, Bais that had 3 heads and 6 tails, and one that had 5 colors. Roar! Ao! Many terrifying beasts roared like thunder, their bodies exuding a terrifying aura. The ferocious birds' voices pierced through gold and cracked stone. Their bodies were like dark clouds, their aura causing people's hearts to tremble. On top of the ferocious beasts, there were many figures standing. The aura around them was like a dazzling sun, causing people to be unable to look directly at them. It was as if the stars had descended, causing the sky above the Du Palace to be filled with light. It was as if a god had descended to the world, overlooking the world with disdain. Outside the Du Palace, all the people of the Du family trembled and prostrated themselves. Inside the Du Palace, there were only a dozen or so people whose bodies were covered in light, barely able to resist the terrifying aura. Among these dozen or so people, Du Xiaofu saw 4 familiar figures. One of them was the North Vanquishing Prince, who was covered in a cold light, resisting the terrifying aura. The King Protector of the Du Palace was also among them. However, the King Protector was only around 30 years old, still extremely young and extraordinary. His hand was tightly holding the hand of a 6 or 7-year-old boy, whose eyes were already filled with lightning, looking extraordinary. It was the appearance of the Du family Du Chong when he was young. Among the crowd, Du Xiaofu saw 2 extraordinary figures, a man and a woman. The woman, proud and independent. There was no fear in her eyes. There was not the slightest bit of fear as she looked at the terrifying figure like the dazzling sun. There were 2 babies, 2 Dragon King. Beside the otherworldly woman was a young man with a dignified appearance. He was dressed in a battle robe and his fists were clenched. His face was resolute and his eyes emitted cold stars with lightning radiating from them. Father, mother. Seeing the young man and woman, Du Xiaofu wanted to say something, but found that he could not say anything. The young man and woman were his drunkard father and mother, and the 2 babies in his mother's arms that seemed to have just been born were him and his sister. In front of the Du residence, there were 2 old men standing there, their eyes flickering with lightning. One of the old men, who looked to be in his 60s or 70s, stared at the terrifying figures descending from the sky, as well as the terrifying, ferocious beasts. Sirs, Du Tingxian and his wife have nothing to do with our Du household. Please do not harm the innocent. Du Tingxian stood proudly. On his resolute face, his eyes emitted cold stars, his battle robe fluttering. Facing the terrifying figures in front of him, he shouted, "I have nothing to do with the Du Palace. If there is anything, just come at me. Please do not harm the innocent." Sirs, we have nothing to do with Du Tingxian and his wife. From now on, the Du Palace and Du Tingxian will no longer have anything to do with each other. Please do not harm the innocent and treat human life like grass. In front of the prostrating Du family, many old men opened their mouths, their eyes filled with fear. under such terrifying pressure. They were very clear that they were no match for them and had no power to resist. Ao Tong, did you see that? These mortals are heartless. Come with me. On top of the beasts, someone shouted, his voice shaking the heavens, containing endless ancient majesty, like thunder resounding through the sky, reverberating for a long time. Second protector, why are you struggling? The woman looked at the terrifying figure that was as bright as the sun with a pleading look in her eyes. If you don't come with me, then don't blame me for being impolite. After the thunderous shout, the star-like figure swept through the sky, waving his hand, directly pouncing towards the woman. Ao Tong, be careful! Du Tingxian shouted, waving his hand, runes flashing, a fist drawing the thunder clouds in the sky. Like a thunderbolt sweeping out, the sound was like thunder, immediately blocking the attack. Little lowly commoner, you are not qualified. The shout was heard, the light was dazzling, the mysterious runes were monstrous, and a palm suddenly bombarded Du Tingxuan's fist. Boom! There was an explosion in the air. The fist and the palm collided, the energy runes blooming, unexpectedly resisting. Presumptuous! Once again, several star-like figures rushed out. The power was overwhelming, besieging Du Tingxian. Rumble! Du Tingxian resisted with all his strength, and suddenly this side of the world trembled. The surrounding space waves exploded one after another, and the courtyard below cracked and collapsed, then turned into dust in the terrifying energy sweep. The Du family watched, but no one came to help, watching Du Tingxian being besieged. The two old men at the front were fluctuating with lightning, and no one knew what they were thinking. Pucci, finally! Du Tingxian spat out blood from the corner of his mouth, and his body was suddenly knocked back. Step by step, the ground cracked and turned into dust. The people of the Du family, who were crawling all around, one after another, retreated, fear in their eyes, as if they were afraid of provoking an unexpected disaster, and no one came forward to care. Tingxian, the otherworldly woman, came to Du Tingxuan's side. Her eyes were dignified and dim. Take care of Xiaofu and Xiaojing, I'm fine. Du Tingxian stepped forward, protecting the otherworldly woman. Let's go! It won't be easy for them to catch us. The otherworldly woman held a jade slip in her hand, and then she crushed it. The surrounding space fluctuated, and then the two disappeared. We can't escape. Jade strips were crushed in the hands of many figures within the star-like figures, following which many terrifying figures and those monstrous, ferocious beasts suddenly disappeared. It was as though they had never been here. Walala! The space and the surroundings disappeared, and the imperial capital, Dragon City, appeared clearly. Countless gazes were fixed in the direction of the Du family, and they trembled in fear. No one knew what happened in the Du family. The scene in front of him disappeared, and Du Xiaofu's consciousness returned to the small hall. His eyes were moist, and his fists were clenched tightly. Father, mother, Du Xiaofu called out softly. Being in the Du family, the blood of the Du family's ancestors flowed in his veins, and they were of the same origin. Those people of the Du family actually watched as his father was surrounded by experts, and their own family was in danger, but the Du family was so heartless. The North vanquishing prince looked at Du Xiaofu, and on his wrinkled face there was a hint of heartache. Back then, your father took out a Huangji pellet from the Tianwu Academy. Do you know about this? Yes. Du Xiaofu looked at the North vanquishing prince and nodded. When he was in Orchid City, he already knew about this from Aunt Shan and Ouyang Shuang. This was also the reason why his father was listed on the Tianwu Academy's bounty list. The North vanquishing prince's eyes flickered, and his expression sank. The Du family's Du Chong was born, and his talent was extraordinary. According to what I know, the Du family hoped that Du Chong's future would be bright, and they wanted to obtain the Huangji pellet from the Tianwu Academy. They wanted to give Du Chong the Huangji pellet from the Tianwu Academy to strengthen the Stone City's Du family. But who would have thought that not only did the Du family sever ties with your father, They even ignored the Stone City's Du family. Heartless and heartless! Du Xiaofu clenched his fists, and his clear eyes flickered with anger. He didn't expect that his father took the Huangji pellet from the Tianwu Academy for the Du family's Du Chong. And when his family was facing a strong enemy, the Du family was heartless and heartless. How could Du Xiaofu not be angry? At this moment, Du Xiaofu was angry for his drunkard father and for himself, a descendant of the Du family. The North vanquishing prince hesitated for a moment before continuing to speak to Du Xiaofu. I received news that not long ago, someone from the Du family went to the Stone City's Du family. There should have been quite a bit of conflict, but in the end, the Du family seized a stone coffin from the Stone City's Du family. They suspected that it was a treasure of the Stone City's Du family that could benefit the Du family, so they planned to take it for themselves. Boom! Following the North vanquishing prince's words, a golden light shot out from Du Xiaofu's eyes. A wave of qi rushed out from his body, and his eyes were filled with anger. Every time he woke up from the stone coffin, the elders of the Stone City's Du family would specially warn him that the stone coffin in the ancestral hall was something left behind by the ancestors of the Du family. If he climbed into the stone coffin again, he would be severely punished. Now that the stone coffin had arrived at the Du family's ancestral hall, Du Xiaofu definitely knew what had happened. How could his first and second uncles, as well as the elders of the Du family, allow others to touch the ancestral hall so easily? Even if it was the people of the Du family, they definitely wouldn't allow it. Unless the people of the Du family had already made a big fuss in the Stone City's Du family, and with the Stone City's Du family strength, it was impossible for them to resist. Early in the morning, outside the Courage God Mansion, 2 men and a woman arrived. One was a young man, one was a brawny man, and the other was a woman. The young man was brawny and wore a cloud robe. He had an extraordinary aura, and his shoulder-length black hair fluttered in the wind. His bronze skin had a faint xian qi luster flowing on it. The brawny man was brawny, but his face was pale and his brows were tightly knitted. The woman had a graceful figure, and her black hair was as smooth as a waterfall. Her hair was tied up in a loose bun. At this moment, the 3 of them had solemn gazes. When they saw the 4 words in front of the Courage God Mansion, their tense gazes relaxed a little, but they were still extremely solemn. Who are you looking for? The Courage God Mansion is refusing to see any guests. Please leave. Outside the Courage God Mansion, a guard came forward to inquire. Every day, there would be various forces from the imperial capital that came to seek an audience with the Courage God Mansion. Naturally, they wouldn't be able to fulfill their wishes. Chapter 475. I am Du Xiaoman, the big sister of the brave God King. Hurry and inform the brave God King that his second uncle and second brother are here. The woman said. Her eyes were as clear as water, but they were filled with worry. Since the 3 of you are the relatives of the brave God King, please follow me. I'll inform the brave God King now. The guard was stunned. The 3 of them did not seem to be joking. Looking at their hurried and worried faces, he did not dare to delay and led them into the brave God King's residence. After a while, Du Xiaoman, Du Yunlong, and Du Zhixiong were seated nervously in the main hall of the brave God King's residence. Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaoqing, and Li Shui had already rushed over upon hearing the news. Sister Xiaoman, why are you here? Ouyang Shuang walked up. Seeing Du Xiaoman, she was elated. But looking at Du Xiaoman's serious face, she frowned. Where's third brother? Something happened at the Stone City's Du family. I need to see him immediately. Du Xiaoman squeezed out a smile and asked Ouyang Shuang. I've already sent someone to inform him. He's with the North vanquishing king right now. They should be here soon. Ouyang Shuang replied. Tisk! At practically the exact same moment that Ouyang Shuang finished speaking, the sound of air being torn apart resounded, and then Du Xiaofu's figure suddenly appeared within the hall. He carried a broad sword on his back, and his violet robe fluttered slightly. His clear eyes were suffused with a golden bright light, and his gaze instantly descended onto Du Zhixiong, Du Yunlong, and Du Xiaoman. Second uncle, big sister, second brother. When Du Xiaofu saw his second uncle Du Zhixiong's pale complexion, his gaze immediately darkened. Then he saw that his second uncle, who used to be fierce and sturdy, had lost his left arm at the shoulder. His aura was weak, and his injuries were not light. Second uncle, you? At this moment, Du Xiaofu had a strong premonition in his heart. This premonition made Du Xiaofu's heart tremble. I've heard about you from your eldest sister and second brother. You're indeed your father's son. Good job. A smile appeared on Du Zhixiong's pale face. He stood up and walked forward, patting Du Xiaofu's shoulder with a single arm. With a faint smile in his eyes, he softly said, "The Du family of the Du household took away the stone coffin that you often climbed into to sleep when you were young. That is the ancestral item of the Du family of Shur City. The elders of the Du family were incompetent and were unable to protect the ancestral item. This responsibility is now handed over to you. You must get it back." Second uncle, I already know about this matter. I will definitely get back the stone coffin in the ancestral shrine. Du Xiaofu nodded his head, his eyes filled with coldness. Third brother, first uncle was heavily injured by the people of the Du household. One of my father's arms was also severed by them. The Du household has gone too far. You must avenge our Shur City's Du family. Du Yunlong's eyes were scarlet red. Profound qi surged around his body, causing his cloud robe to flutter. How is first uncle? Hearing that his first uncle was heavily injured, Du Xiaofu immediately became anxious. He looked at everyone and hurriedly asked, "Third brother." Du Xiaoman opened her mouth. Her eyes were filled with worry and grief. She looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "My father was heavily injured by the people of the Du household. Right now, we don't know if he's dead or alive. Senior Thunder Lion is currently treating my father. His condition is extremely serious." Deng Deng! Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's body trembled. His eyes immediately became lifeless. The entire hall suddenly became absolutely silent. Numerous gazes fell on Du Xiaofu's body. An invisible aura seeped out of nowhere, causing the entire hall to tremble for no reason. "Brother." Du Xiaoqing stepped forward and gently shook Du Xiaofu's wrist. She was worried about her brother. "I'm fine." Du Xiaofu regained his senses. At this moment, his resolute face didn't reveal any anger. He only looked at his second uncle, Du Yunlong, and eldest sister, Du Xiaoman, and said, "Second uncle, eldest sister, second brother, don't worry. I will definitely seek justice for our Du family, no matter how much others owe us. I will definitely repay them in double. Second uncle knows that you're extraordinary now. You're already the brave God King of the Stone Dragon Empire. However, no matter what you do, you have to be careful. Pay attention to your own safety first. The Du household isn't easy to deal with. Your first uncle's condition is still unknown. We have to go back as soon as possible. The Lion King hopes that I can bring you back. He can only temporarily protect your first uncle, but he can't treat him." Du Zhixiong said to Du Xiaofu, "I understand. Second uncle, don't worry. After retrieving the sarcophagus, I will return to Stone City." Du Xiaofu nodded. Right now, nothing was more important than his first uncle. His expression slightly changed. Then he squeezed out a smile at Ouyang Shuang and said, "Help me find Darkwolf and Phantom. I have something to discuss with them. At the same time, help me send Grandfather Xia out of the mansion. Tell him that I will visit him another day. I have some urgent matters to attend to right now." Ouyang Shuang looked at Du Xiaofu, nodded, and left the hall. "Greetings, brave God King." A moment later, Darkwolf and Phantom respectfully came over. "Dark Wolf, go to Chaotic Demon City in the Dark Forest for me. Go to a place called the World Assembly and find the Medicine King, Iwuming. Tell him that I invited him to Stone City to visit my first uncle. Answer whatever he asks. You don't have to hide anything from him. Du Xiaofu sternly instructed Dark Wolf. World Assembly Medicine King, Yi Wuming. Hearing this name, Dark Wolf, Phantom, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, and the others in the hall all had a drastic change in expression. The name of the Medicine King, Yi Wuming, shocked Dark Wolf even more. He immediately revealed a bitter smile to Du Xiaofu and said, "Brave God King, rumor has it that the Medicine King, Yi Wuming, has disappeared for decades. Furthermore, even if I can find him, I'm afraid that I won't be able to invite the legendary Medicine King, Yi Wuming. Don't worry. Since it's my invitation, Medicine King, Yi Wuming, shouldn't reject it. Let's go now. Don't waste time on the way. The sooner, the better." After Du Xiaofu finished speaking to Dark Wolf, he turned to Li Shui and said, "Follow Dark Wolf to Chaotic Demon City. I don't know much about the World Assembly's situation there. I believe that you will be able to help." "Okay." Li Shui didn't say much and nodded her head slightly. When Du Yunlong heard Du Xiaofu's words, he was also puzzled. It seemed that Dark Wolf was curious about the World Assembly in Chaotic Demon City, and his relationship with Third Brother wasn't simple. However, under such circumstances, he didn't ask too much. "I'll leave the matters of the brave God King Mansion to you." Dark Wolf bade farewell to Li Shui and left the hall after informing Phantom about the situation. "Phantom, inform all the guards of the brave God King Mansion to head to the Du Mansion. I'll be there soon," Du Xiaofu said to Phantom. "Yes." Phantom was a little puzzled. However, when he saw Du Xiaofu's expression, he immediately nodded his head and left the hall. "Du Xiaofu, what are you planning to do? Are you going to deal with the Du Mansion now?" Du Zhixiong retracted his gaze from Dark Wolf and Phantom. He could feel that those two were martial marquee experts. However, they were extremely respectful in front of Du Xiaofu. In such a short time, the foolish young master in Stone City had become the brave God King of the Stone Dragon Empire. Even martial marquee experts had to obey his orders. "It's not that. We're just going to take back what belongs to us," Du Xiaofu said to second uncle Du Zhixiong. "Second uncle, come with me. After we take back what belongs to us, we'll return to Stone City. No one can take away what belongs to us." "All right." Looking at Du Xiaofu's resolute gaze, Du Zhixiong nodded his head. Ever since the bloody battle in Stone City, he knew that this young man in front of him would one day lead the Du family to a new height. He would be able to protect the Du family. "Me too. I want to go too. The Du Mansion is too much of a bully. This time, I'll teach them a lesson." Du Xiaoqing had been in the hall the whole time. She had heard everything clearly. The Du Mansion was bullying the Du family and her brother. This made her very angry. Her innocent eyes glowed with a green light. "All right, let's go together. This is second brother and second uncle. They are my family. In the future, they will also be your family." Du Xiaofu smiled and introduced Du Xiaoqing to second uncle and second brother. "Second uncle, second brother." Du Xiaoqing curiously looked at Du Zhixiong and Du Yunlong. Looking at the young girl in front of them, Du Zhixiong and Du Yunlong squeezed out a smile and nodded their heads. Although they were curious about Du Xiaoqing's background, they did not ask too much at this moment. North Vanquishing Prince and Sister Xia Fei have been sent away. "What do you plan to do? Do you want me to go to the Ouyang Mansion and ask my grandfather to step in?" Ouyang Shuang returned to the hall and said to Du Xiaofu. With her understanding of Du Xiaofu and the fact that she had just returned, she could guess what Du Xiaofu wanted to do when she saw the Phantom Emperor gathering all the guards from the Courage God Mansion to the Du Mansion. "No need. This is the Du family's matter. Let the Du family settle it themselves." Du Xiaofu knew that Ouyang Shuang meant well. After shaking his head slightly, he walked out of the hall. At this moment, Du Xiaofu wanted to go to the Du Mansion to seek justice. He wanted to take back what belonged to the Du family. Du Zhixiong, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaoman, and the others looked at each other and followed. Outside the hall, Du Xiaofu stepped out and looked at the gradually rising sun in the sky. He turned his head and looked at his second uncle, whose face was deathly pale and who had lost an arm. Following behind him, his expression turned solemn at this moment. A chilling aura began to surge out from his body, causing the surrounding space to change for no reason. There was a faint golden glow flickering in his eyes. At the same time, a faint golden glow began to spread around his body. Everyone in the Du Mansion, listen up. Today, if I, Du Xiaofu, do not flatten the Du Mansion, the heavens will not tolerate it. Today's update is complete. Chapter 476. His voice was like thunder, reaching the clouds and spreading across the entire imperial city. Boom! At this moment, the space in the sky trembled, and a golden light shot into the sky, carrying with it a sharp, killing intent. The clouds in the sky changed color, and the world started to darken. Du Xiaofu's clear eyes looked up at the sky, and a golden light flashed. Du Xiaofu was enraged, completely enraged this time. The Du household was heartless, and Du Xiaofu was enraged for the entire Du family. He was enraged for his own family, and also for the entire Stone City Du family. The sound waves spread across the entire imperial city. The brave God King wants to deal with the Du household. What's going on? The brave God King already dealt with the Du household last time. Could it be that the Du household provoked the brave God King again this time? At this moment, countless eyes in the imperial city looked up, and their hearts were filled with shock. In the air, an ice demon eagle flapped its wings, and the North Vanquishing Prince and Xia Fei stood there. I don't know if telling him is a blessing or a curse. Fei informed the disciples of the Xia household to head to the Du household. I also want to go there to take a look. I can't let him suffer. Hearing the sound waves, the North Vanquishing Prince's wrinkled face sighed. The Du family in the Golden Dragon Hall of the Imperial Palace. Emperor Cheng stood with his hands behind his back, and his aura was imposing. In the Du household, Du Xiaofu's rolling sound waves swept across the sky, and everyone in the Du household could hear it clearly. Finally, a disaster has come. All the old, young women and children enter the secret chamber. Quick! In the Du household, a burly man looked at the sky, his expression dim, and his eyes filled with sorrow. Is that branch family Du Xiaofu rebelling? How dare he say he wants to flatten the Du household? How dare he? He should be punished severely. Rebellion, it's really rebellion. A little branch family brat wants to flatten the Du household just because he's talented. How dare he? Set up the array. Prepare to activate all the array glyphs in the mansion. If he dares to come, then he won't be able to leave. That Du Xiaofu is also extraordinary. He's even more powerful than Jur. I'm afraid it's not appropriate for me to attack by force. Inside the Du household, there were many old people discussing and coming up with plans to suppress Du Xiaofu. Hiya! Iron hooves kicked up dust, and the ground trembled. Outside the Du household, hundreds of horses galloped over. Outside the Du household, the facade that had been destroyed by Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoqing had already been repaired. It looked exactly the same, and there were no traces of its destruction. Who are you? Stop here, or else you'll be killed without mercy. Outside the Du household, there were trembling guards of the Du household. They were already worried when they heard the brave God King's loud roar. Now that they saw so many people approaching aggressively, they were instantly on alert. We'll wait here for the brave God King. Phantom raised his head and stopped his horse. He waved his hand and said to the guards of the brave God King's mansion behind him. He didn't have any intention to bother with the guards of the Du household. From the loud roar that reverberated throughout the imperial capital, Phantom already knew what the brave God King wanted to do. These guards of the brave God King's mansion were the absolute elites of the escort agency. Every one of them had experienced countless massacres and lived a life where blood was shed on the tip of the blade. They were all top-notch experts, and the sharp aura that they exuded wasn't something the guards of the Du household could compare to. These guards of the brave God King's mansion only obeyed the brave God King. Even though they were only the guards of the brave God King's mansion, they didn't put the other guards in their eyes, not even those of the Dew household. After the Kingdom War, they were even more loyal to the brave God King's mansion. With the appearance of the hundreds of guards from the Courage Divine King's mansion, they knew the purpose of the Courage Divine King's visit. The bloody and fierce aura was not concealed at all as it instantly swept out, causing the guards outside the Dew mansion to tremble in fear. Hurry up and inform the Dew household. Those people seemed to be from the brave God King's mansion. Outside the Dew household, some of the guards recognized Phantom and the others. Their faces instantly changed, and sharp whistles could be heard. Who dares to be so presumptuous in the Dew household? In a short period of time, the red doors of the Dew household opened, and a large group of Dew family disciples rushed out. Their auras surged and gathered together before they charged towards Phantom and the other guards of the brave God King's mansion. How dare you offend the Dew household? How dare you? If you don't get lost, we'll kill you without mercy. Among the disciples of the Dew household, someone shouted. Hundreds of people, and the number was still increasing, gathered together and surrounded Huaning and the others. Phantom's eyes were calm, but her expression was slightly gloomy. She didn't say a word as she gripped the long sword in her hand tightly. Mysterious aura surged around her, and the runes on the long sword moved. A sharp aura instantly spread out. Clang, clang, buzz. Buzz, in an instant, the hundreds of Courage God Manor's guards gripped their ice blades tightly as their auras surged. A sharp aura mixed with blood swept out as they pointed their weapons at the Dew Manor's disciples, ready to start a massacre at any moment. The sharp aura mixed with the bloody aura obviously blocked the aura of the Dew household disciples, causing them to tremble slightly. How dare the brave God King's mansion go against my Dew household? You're courting death. But in just a short instant, experts of the Dew household began to leap out from the gates of the Dew household. They were all at the Pulse Spirit Realm and Martial Marquee Realm. Waves of powerful chi erupted from the periphery, appearing in front of the people of the Dew household. When they landed, waves of terrifying chi pressured them, causing the Phantom Guards and other mounts to tremble in fear. Roar! Suddenly, a low roar of a tiger came from the distant sky. It was like the roar of a supreme beast. It could move mountains and rivers, suppress tens of thousands of beasts, and make one's soul tremble. Everyone immediately raised their heads and saw a huge black tiger flapping its wings. The black runes on its body were dazzling. Roar! The huge black tiger roared, and one could clearly see the sound waves cause the space to ripple. It was like a huge wave, and it shook the heavens and earth. Walala! The huge black tiger flapped its wings, and it brought along two huge black storms. With a flap, it appeared in the sky above the Dew household. The huge black tiger was no less than 100 feet. Its body was terrifying, and it stood in the air with its claws. Its body was emitting dazzling black runes, and it was like a huge mountain that was suppressing others. It glared at them covetously, and its aura was surging, causing them to tremble in fear. At this moment, there were many figures standing on the back of the huge black tiger. The most eye-catching one was a purple-robed youth with a broadsword on his back. The purple-robed youth stood upright with a golden macaque on his shoulder. Beside him were 3 beautiful women. Their eyebrows were like swords, and their eyes were suffused with a golden glow. They were filled with dominance and sharpness. It's him. It's the brave God King, Du Xiaofu. It's Du Xiaofu. I heard that he came from a branch family of our Dew household. He just said that he wants to flatten the Dew household. Is this Du Xiaofu really here to flatten the Dew household? Seeing the purple-robed youth on the terrifying, huge black tiger, everyone from the Dew household was afraid. Some of them even started to tremble. Some of them knew that the Dew household had snatched a stone coffin from the Dew family in the Stone City. The brave God King, Du Xiaofu, was probably here for revenge. That's right. That's the brave God King, Du Xiaofu. Is the brave God King really here to flatten the Du household? In front of the Du household's main gate, many spectators were rushing over. They stood far away and did not dare to approach. Greetings to the brave God King. Phantom led the Du household's guards and bowed respectfully. The Du household has gone too far. They are heartless. I give you 15 minutes to hand over the Du family stone coffin, hand over everyone who went to the Du family in the Stone City, and hand over a Huangji pill. Otherwise, we will flatten the Du household and make them pay with their blood. On the back of the huge black tiger, Du Xiaofu raised his head and shouted. His voice reverberated throughout the Du household. In the main hall of the Du household, many old people's faces twitched when they heard the loud shouts outside. That brat is really here. Does he really dare to flatten the Du household and flatten the main family? It seems like he already knows about the Huangji pill. Who told him about it? Could it be Du Tingxian? Back then, his father, Du Tingxian, almost caused a huge disaster for the Du household. He still has the nerve to ask for the Huangji pill. How presumptuous! That brat is really here. We have to think of a way to deal with him. Perhaps we can find out the secret of our Du family's martial veins from him. Outside the Du household, Du Xiaofu dismounted from the huge black tiger and quietly waited outside the Du household. Du Zhixiong, Du Yunlong, and Du Xiaoman stood side by side, gazing at the vast and magnificent Du household. This was another clan of the Du household. It was rumored that this clan was incomparably powerful and could move unhindered in the empire. They had once thought of visiting this clan one day. Now that they were here, it was different from what they had imagined. The anticipation and yearning for this clan had already dissipated in the hearts of Du Zhixiong and the other two. What was left was only anger and pain. Outside the Du household, all the Du household disciples retreated. Facing the aura of the huge black tiger, they were simply unable to resist. They were even more afraid of the terrifying gaze of the purple-robed youth. 15 minutes is up. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu raised his head and began to walk towards the Du household. Du Xiaofu, what do you want to do? In front of the Du household disciples, a martial lord cultivator stared at Du Xiaofu and asked. But when his voice fell, he felt that his voice was trembling and his whole body was shivering. Chapter 477. Flatten the Du household. As Du Xiaofu spoke, his eyes glowed with a frightening golden light. Wherever his feet passed, the ground began to crack. The cracks spread out as a terrifying aura erupted. Not good. The brave God King is going to kill someone. The Du family disciples and guards all retreated in the face of the purple-robed youth, not daring to resist at all. Even their souls were trembling. During the Kingdom War, the brave God King Du Xiaofu fought the Tianhu Empire's human king Lu Kuan. That terrifying scene was still lingering in their hearts, and they were terrified. Stop right now. Inside the Du household, another person walked out from the vermilion door. It was an old man in his 70s. His gaze was fixed on Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu's intimidating gaze moved slightly. He recognized this old man. He was the second elder of the Du household, known as the number one person below the martial king realm. He was famous throughout the entire empire, the existence closest to the martial king realm. He was the top expert of the Du household. Back then, he had fought with Du Xiaoqing and suffered a great loss at the hands of Du Xiaoqing. When the Du family disciples saw the second elder come out, they immediately crowded behind him. Seeing that the Du family disciples were so cowardly in front of Du Xiaofu, a hint of helplessness flashed through the second elder's eyes. Du Xiaofu stopped in his tracks, looked at the second elder, and asked, "Did you bring out the thing I wanted?" The Du family protectors and elders are discussing in the main hall. "We can agree to your conditions. Come in with me to get it." The second elder said to Du Xiaofu, "Be careful, it might be a trap. I'll go with you." Ouyang Shuang and Du Xiaoman were both worried. They stepped forward to accompany Du Xiaofu into the Du household. "Brother, I'll go in with you." Du Xiaoqing stepped forward, wanting to enter the Du household with her brother. "You can go in alone. This is also a matter of the Du family. Those unrelated to the Du family shouldn't come in." The second elder looked at Ouyang Shuang and the others. He was especially wary of Du Xiaoqing. "It's fine. You all wait for me here. I'll go in alone." Du Xiaofu waved his hand, then turned back to look at the Phantom Clan and said, "If anyone dares to act rashly, kill them all." "Yes." Everyone from Phantom Shadow nodded and gripped their weapons tightly. Their xian qi surged, and a bloody aura spread out. Jia, the ground and the streets, demonic beasts and demonic beasts, demonic beasts and demonic beasts as mounts and demonic beasts, and armor, and figures emitting a powerful aura. Xia fei xia families, Du xia, and said xia, as she xia, xia, Li xia, xia to say and to. Xia Du, thank you. Du Xiaofu nodded. Just that when the second elder of the Du household saw the people of the Xia household coming, his face secretly became a little embarrassed. Soon after, Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao, whose pale golden spirit eyes moved slightly on his shoulder, entered the Du palace together. Everyone waited outside. "I can't help but feel uneasy. Could there be a trap here?" On Du Zhixiong's pale face, there was a hint of worry in his eyes. He was faintly feeling uneasy. "Second uncle, don't worry. Xiaofu can protect himself." Du Xiaoman comforted her second uncle Du Zhixiong. But at this moment, her beautiful eyes were also slightly serious. Following the second elder, Du Xiaofu passed through the Du household. Inside the magnificent and spacious Du household, it was completely silent. There was not a single person. After a moment, Du Xiaofu stepped into the Du household's huge and solemn ancient main hall. His gaze swept across the hall. There were close to 100 elders and experts of the Du family. Seeing Du Xiaofu's arrival, the elders and experts of the Du family suddenly trembled. Their gazes fell on Du Xiaofu. Some were angry, some were sneering, some were wary, and some were fearful. At the head of the main hall, there was an old man who looked to be in his 80s sitting upright. His sideburns were white. His appearance was old, but his aura was not angry. His gaze was frightening. Du Xiaofu raised his head. He was a little surprised that he did not see the Protector King. But at this moment, the aura of this old man was extremely powerful. It shook one's soul. He was actually a peak Great Circle Spirit Talisman Master. "This is the Great Elder, Du Xiaofu. Hurry up and pay your respects to the Great Elder." Inside the main hall, someone lightly shouted at Du Xiaofu, indicating that Du Xiaofu should pay his respects to the Great Elder. That was an expert of the Du household, a peak Great Circle Spirit Talisman Master. He was second to none in the entire Stone Dragon Empire. He was the absolute expert of the Du household. "What does your Great Elder have to do with me? Have you prepared the things I want?" Du Xiaofu lightly shouted. His gaze swept across the people of the Du household in the main hall. His expression was frightening. "Good one, Du Xiaofu. As a branch family's descendant, you actually dared to trample the main family. This is treason and heresy. According to the family's rules, you should be killed. Du Xiaofu, since this is your first offense and your talent is outstanding, as long as you are willing to hand over the secrets of the martial veins in your body, we will be lenient with your punishment. In the future, as long as you wholeheartedly serve the Du family will nurture you well. We will give you the opportunity to step out of the empire and set foot in the central region. In the future, one day, you will stand above the central region. Du Xiaofu, obediently surrender and hand over the secrets in your body. Otherwise, you will be punished according to the family's rules." Suddenly, inside the main hall, an old man loudly shouted. He seemed to be confident that he would no longer be afraid of Du Xiaofu. Hearing this, Du Xiaoyao, who was on Du Xiaofu's shoulder, moved her eyes. Her pale, golden spirit pupils fluctuated, and her gaze swept across the people in the main hall. "Ha ha ha!" Du Xiaofu laughed loudly. His laughter shook the entire main hall. Everyone could hear the surging anger in his laughter. It was like a suppressed volcano that could erupt at any time. "Du Xiaofu, what are you laughing at?" In the main hall, an old man's eyebrows twitched as he looked at Du Xiaofu and asked. Du Xiaofu's laughter came to an abrupt end. Two golden rays of light shot out from his eyes as he looked directly at the group of people in the main hall. The aura around his body spread out. Under the terrifying aura, the group of people in the main hall felt that facing Du Xiaofu was like facing a terrifying demonic beast that was eyeing them covetously. The fierce and domineering aura permeated the air and swept through the main hall, causing their hearts to tremble for no reason. "I'm laughing at you for overestimating yourselves. I'm laughing at you for thinking too highly of yourselves. I'm laughing at you for being a group of frogs in a well and looking at the sky." Du Xiaofu coldly shouted. His master, the revered equipment master, was already a top expert in the Central Plains. From the teachings of his master, Du Xiaofu had already opened up a huge and embryonic view of the world. How could the words of this group of people from the Du family enter Du Xiaofu's ears? Moreover, at this time, there was only anger in Du Xiaofu's heart. "Du Xiaofu, you are presumptuous. How dare you disregard your elders? This is a serious crime. Didn't the Stone City's Du family teach you the rules?" As Du Xiaofu's voice fell, many old men looked at each other with embarrassed expressions. An old man couldn't help but shout, lightning flashing in his eyes. "Old man, what qualifications do you have to mention the Stone City's Du family and my Du family's elders? Who do you think you are?" Du Xiaofu was furious. Suddenly, two golden lights flashed in his eyes as he looked directly at the old man. A domineering and terrifying aura was released. His shout was like thunder, deafening and rolling, reverberating in the main hall. "Dang, dang!" As Du Xiaofu's shout fell, the old man's body suddenly staggered back. Under the spread of Du Xiaofu's terrifying aura, his mind suddenly seemed to have been hit by a heavy blow. Then he sat down on the ground. He was so scared that his old face suddenly turned pale. His eyes became dull and his body trembled violently. "Oh my God!" Many people in the main hall were shocked and trembling. No one thought that an elder would be scolded by Du Xiaofu to sit down on the ground with just a few words. Each and every one of them suddenly felt their hair stand on end and their hearts tremble. "Du Xiaofu, what are you doing? No matter what, everyone here is your elder. Such disrespect is enough to punish you." The first elder opened his mouth. His voice was deep and old. Accompanied by his soul mental energy, it rolled towards Du Xiaofu. It was as if he wanted to give Du Xiaofu a show of strength. He wanted to kill Du Xiaofu's spirit and prestige, and also test Du Xiaofu's strength. As the soul mental energy swept over, Du Xiaofu's Naiwan Palace's mental energy surged and directly resisted. He looked at the first elder with a frightening gaze. Killing intent began to spread around his body as he said in a deep voice, "You are old, but not my elders. Old people who don't die are thieves. You are just a group of old thieves. A group of old thieves. So what if I kill you today? Impudent, audacious junior, speaking such arrogant words, you should be suppressed and killed." The first elder stood up with an extremely ugly expression. However, at this moment he was secretly shocked. He didn't know why, but when facing this junior, Du Xiaofu, he felt a faint uneasiness in his heart. That uneasiness even intensified, and then he began to tremble with fear. "Ha ha ha!" Du Xiaofu laughed again. His voice was full of anger. The Du family had gone too far. They had bullied his father, bullied his family, and now bullied the Stone City's Du family. They had crippled his second uncle's arm. His eldest uncle's life and death were unknown, and they had destroyed the Du family's ancestral hall. All of this, how could Du Xiaofu not be angry? The Stone City's Du family and the Du family were of the same bloodline. Thousands of years ago, they were one family. But in these thousands of years, after who knows how many generations, this last trace of bloodline that couldn't be any thinner was completely destroyed by the anger in Du Xiaofu's heart. A bunch of old thieves. I'll ask you one last time. What I want, are you going to return or not? Are you going to hand it over or not? The laughter came to an abrupt end. Du Xiaofu's golden eyes swept across the great hall. His voice was monstrous, shaking the great hall until it cracked and the ground shook. Inside the great hall, each and every Du family expert suddenly trembled in fear and continuously retreated. Treacherous brat, he should be suppressed and killed. This kid must not be allowed to live. The first elder shouted. His figure flashed and suddenly appeared at the side door. At this moment, all the Du family experts and elders had retreated to the entrance of the great hall, each and every one of them revealing a cold smile. This group of old thieves has already set up a great formation to deal with you. Du Xiaoyao glanced indifferently at the surroundings of the large hall. At this moment, there were quite a number of stone pillars, beams, and even the ground within the large hall. They were faintly connected and communicated with the energy of the world. Haha, what a group of old thieves, really shameless. They deceived me into entering the great hall and set up a great formation. Not only did they bully my Stone City Du family, they also bullied my family. Now they want to kill me? Du Xiaofu angrily laughed, his eyes trembling with the color of blood. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was heartbroken, as if his heart was being cut by a knife. Heartbroken that his drunkard father was deceived by the Du family. Heartbroken that the Stone City Du family had always regarded the Du household as a family, and even the main family. But now they had met with such a fate. Pain, Du Xiaofu's heart was pierced, as if his heart was being cut by a knife. Anger, Du Xiaofu's anger overflowed to the heavens, uncontrollable. I'll ask you one last time. Will you hand over the Marshall Vane secret and submit to the main family, or else you will be suppressed and killed here? The first elder shouted, his eyes looking at Du Xiaofu as he finally asked, If you don't hand it over, you will be suppressed and killed to eliminate future troubles. The old man of the Du family sneered, his eyes flashing with lightning. For countless years, the Du household had stood tall in the empire and had long been built into a fortress. Even if a peak martial king entered the Du household, he would definitely not be able to leave and would be suppressed and killed inside. Although Du Xiaofu was extraordinary, he was currently in the Du household. How could the old men of the Du family be afraid and sit and wait for the rebellious brat to be suppressed and killed? Today, the Du household will be trampled to the ground. Du Xiaofu raised his head and shouted, his voice rumbling and spreading, shaking the great hall. Unfortunately, the Du family had already set up a formation around the area. The commotion inside could not be heard by Du Xiaoqing and the others outside. One big chapter, asking for fresh flowers, recommendations. Coffee, I haven't exploded in a few days. Let's explode tomorrow. Everyone, just give me some fresh flowers. For 162 now. 500 will do. Xiao Yu continues to write. Chapter 478. Du Xiaofu's shocking roar resounded in the hearts of all the Du family practitioners. Every single one of them trembled in fear, and it was not difficult to detect a bone-chilling coldness. Activate the King Subduing formation. Kill that treacherous brat. Activate the formation. Kill that brat and prevent future troubles. We must not let him escape, or else he will be a great threat to our Du household. Outside the main hall, some of the Du household elders shouted out in shock, and immediately some of them joined forces to activate the formation. Rumble. At this moment, the floor, beams, and stone pillars within the large hall had mysterious talisman runes flickering on them. Waves of aura suddenly surged. Soon after, the large array was activated, and waves of vast aura instantly erupted. Rumble. The entire hall shook, the earth quaked, and the mountains swayed. There was an explosion of light, and the space around the hall was distorted. The energy gathered, and it shook people's souls, making them tremble in fear. A terrifying killing array suddenly covered the hall. Murderous intent surged, suppressing everything. It was unstoppable. This brat is dead for sure. He's dead for sure. All the Du household elders and practitioners retreated, and all of them heaved a sigh of relief as they watched the activated king-subduing formation. The king-subduing formation was the strongest killing formation in the Du household. It was the ultimate killing formation left behind by generations of Du household practitioners over thousands of years. It was rumored that even king-level practitioners could be killed by it. Now that Du Xiaofu was suppressed by the formation, he was definitely dead for sure. First elder, second elder, there are still some troublemakers outside. The Xia household people are also among them. How should we deal with them? Someone from the Du household asked the first and second elders. At this moment, in everyone's eyes, no matter how extraordinary Du Xiaofu was, he would only die in the king-subduing formation. There was no chance for him to survive. The people from Duke Xie's residence advised them to retreat. Du Xiaofu is already dead. Can Duke Xie's residence really contend against my Duke Du's residence? As for the other small fries, just kill them. The great elder of Duke Du's residence coldly said, "Ha! What a good, it's fine to kill. What a good old thief." Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's roar came from the palace that was enveloped by the great array of suppressing kings. His voice spread out, and then golden light spread out from the distorted great array of suppressing kings. Golden light enveloped the area. The dazzling golden light was like a blazing sun exploding, causing the entire space to distort. The terrifying aura gave people an incomparable sense of pressure. After that, two silhouettes walked out from the distorting grand formation. Two figures, one big and one small, erupted with a terrifying aura, as if a terrifying lord had been born. It turned out to be a huge sparkling and translucent ape. Mysterious runes surged all over its body, causing the surrounding space to ripple violently. "Ayo-ho!" The ape roared. Its entire body was covered with golden mysterious runes. Its sparkling and translucent body was wrapped in multicolored light. Its eyes were lively, as if it was born with spiritual eyes, overlooking everything in the world, including the people of the Du household. The small figure was Du Xiaofu. He walked out with his tall and straight body. His face was firm and his eyes were frightening. At this moment, his body was wrapped in rolling golden light, as if he wanted to drown the surrounding space in the golden light. How can this be? How did Du Xiaofu come out? Impossible! This is absolutely impossible. How can the great array of suppressing kings be ineffective against Du Xiaofu? Outside the palace, the people of the Du household were shocked. Everyone's hearts were filled with fear. That was the strongest great array of suppressing kings of the Du family. Even martial kings could be killed by it. How could Du Xiaofu come out unscathed? That terrifying great array of suppressing kings was actually unable to have any effect on Du Xiaofu. This was too inconceivable. It was hard to believe. Their gazes were trembling, as if they had seen a ghost. "Old bastard, you want to rely on the great array to kill me? You won't be able to do as you wish." Du Xiaofu shouted. His footsteps crossed the space. Suddenly, the ground cracked, the earth shook, and a terrifying aura erupted. Step by step, he walked towards the group of people of the Du household. "Not good. The great array can't trap this bastard." All the experts of the Du household panicked. Seeing that the situation was not good, their hearts trembled and they retreated one after another, not daring to approach. "Don't tell me you old bastards have so little courage. Didn't you want to kill me? Why do you only know how to run now?" Du Xiaofu laughed coldly. Step by step, his eyes were suffused with golden light. A terrifying aura spread out, like a peerless beast, scaring the elders and experts of the Du household into retreating. Impudent! Today, I represent the ancestors of the Du family to capture you. Do you still dare to rebel? If you dare to commit treason, you will be punished by the heavens. An old man who looked to be in his 60s, the one who had been urging Du Xiaofu to kill him, mustered up his courage and walked out. Lightning flashed in his eyes. He waved his hand, and a talisman claw imprint appeared. Accompanied by a flash of lightning, he directly tried to capture Du Xiaofu. He did not believe that Du Xiaofu would really dare to deal with him. Dealing with an elder, treason, he will be punished by the heavens. Heartless, old but not dead, despicable and shameless, you will be punished today. Du Xiaofu shouted, shaking the space. He directly waved his hand, and a fist imprint suddenly blasted out, directly colliding with the claw imprint of the old man. Boom! Under the impact of the fist, a muffled sound rang out. The old man was immediately sent flying, as if he was struck by lightning. Then he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His old eyes were filled with shock, and he directly crashed into a hard stone wall not far away. Bang, bang! The old man's body crashed into the stone wall, causing it to crack. Then he powerlessly closed his eyes and did not even let out a scream. Dead. The third protector is dead. An expert of the Du family immediately went forward to support the old man who was sent flying, only to find that the old man's vitality had been shattered by a single punch. His internal organs and spirit gate had all exploded. Brat, how dare you! The great elder could not bear it any longer. His old face was filled with anger. He formed a hand imprint, and his aura fluctuated. He began to arrange a talisman array to suppress Du Xiaofu. Am I bold, or are you bullying me for being a coward? Du Xiaofu sneered, his body directly pouncing towards the great elder. Quick! Join forces to suppress this bastard. Let the great elder arrange a talisman array. An expert of the Du family shouted. Then many old men and experts moved together. Their auras surged, and terrifying auras erupted, causing the entire space to tremble. Faint, dark clouds hovered in the sky. Lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled in the sky. Their auras suppressed the sky and shook the mountains and rivers. Old man, you're bullying me. Du Xiaofu shouted in a low voice. The talisman wings on his back instantly extended out like a rock descending from the heavens. Every move he made was overbearing and terrifying. With a flap of his wings, he swept out forcefully. His movements were grand, overbearing, fierce, and domineering. His aura swept through the sky and suppressed everything as easily as crushing dry weeds. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Such a collision was like thunder in the sky. A series of talisman lights burst out. Talisman energy violently shot out, causing the surrounding heaven and earth to tremble. Du Xiaofu was enraged. His aura was awe-inspiring. He began a massacre, no longer holding back. The grief in his heart, the anger in his heart, must be cleansed with the blood and souls of the Du family. Pucci, Pucci! Suddenly, figures of the Du family were directly sent flying, all of them vomiting blood. They did not have the strength to resist and were directly sent flying. A large number of figures had their vitality suppressed on the spot. Their bodies were shattered. They were simply not a match for Yi Shiwen. Swish! Du Xiaofu's figure drifted like a deity unfathomable. Soon after, he appeared in front of the first elder who was condensing formation flags and was about to arrange a talisman array. His speed was as fast as lightning. His aura was silent and tyrannical, causing the first elder's eyes to be filled with fear. His old face was filled with disbelief and shock. Kid, you're courting death. After a brief moment of shock, the great elder of the Du household, who was at the peak of the perfect 5-star spirit talisman master, coldly shouted. He waved his hand, and a mighty palm print directly shot towards Du Xiaofu. Bang! The palm print was like thunder. It immediately bombarded Du Xiaofu's body, causing the first elder to feel proud. How can he be so strong? How can this be? However, the first elder of the Du family's expression greatly changed. His palm had only shaken Du Xiaofu's body. Old man, I originally wanted to wait for you to arrange the talisman array. Who knew that you would be so slow? I can't wait for you. Du Xiaofu sneered. Almost at the same time, a fist wrapped in golden runes viciously hammered into the body of the first elder of the Du family. Swish! Soon after, everyone saw the old body of the first elder of the Du family directly fly out, before heavily smashing into the outer wall of a courtyard. Pucci! The instant his old body landed, blood spurted out from his mouth. That tyrannical and terrifying force had directly caused the old body to explode like a bomb, creating a deep hole in the ground of the courtyard. Cracks spread out in all directions, extending into the distance. Damn it, quickly ask the patriarch to come out. Ask the old patriarch to come out, quickly. The second elder's eyes were filled with shock, his gaze violently trembling. As his voice faded, his hand seals formed. Lightning runes suddenly erupted between his hands. Silver snakes flickered, and a lightning palm print immediately condensed. The old figure flashed like a ghost, suddenly launching a sneak attack towards Du Xiaofu. You old man, you're too shameless. Du Xiaoyao's golden ape figure appeared in front of the second elder. Suddenly a fist blasted out. A hazy brilliance erupted, as if the beginning of the world. An indescribable pressure, as if it wanted to burst one's soul, caused the space in front of the fist to blur and distort, as if it could push in all directions and suppress everything. Today's update is complete. Chapter 479. This punch caused the bodies of the surrounding Du family experts to tremble and their souls to throb. Bang, bang. In the blink of an eye, such a collision erupted and the sound waves were ear-splitting. Golden runes spread across the sky, and the terrifying energy caused many people's pupils to shrink. The vast and mighty energy swept across the sky like a flood. Thud, thud. Under such a punch, the lightning in the eyes of the Du family's second elder shrank, and he was suddenly pushed back. Thud! However, at this moment, Du Xiaoyao's red-bone horse monkey body also staggered back a few steps. However, compared to the Du family's second elder, her situation was clearly much better. Rumble. In the surrounding space, under the influence of the golden runes activated by Du Xiaoyao, the rune formation that sealed the space could no longer be maintained and kept exploding in the air. When the rune formation was destroyed, everything in the Du household appeared and could no longer be hidden from the outside world. Come out. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared in the air above the messy rubble. With a wave of his hand, a golden suction force gushed out from his palm and immediately grabbed the Du household's first elder, whose aura was weak and blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, like an eagle grabbing a chick. At this moment, an astonishing aura rippled out from the surroundings of the Du household. Countless gazes gathered and saw that after a series of explosions in the depths of the Du household, a purple-robed youth stood in the air, carrying an old and battered old man in his hand. It's the Courage God King, Du Xiaofu, who just entered. What happened inside? The Courage God King is carrying the Du household's first elder, a peak-perfect 5-star spirit talisman master. Someone shockingly recognized that the person being held in Du Xiaofu's hand right now was the head elder of the Du household. He was an illustrious 5-star peak spirit talisman master who was renowned throughout the empire and was also a talisman master. Its brother. Du Xiaoqing looked at the sky in front of her, her eyes rippling. There's a huge commotion inside. There's indeed an ambush. The gazes of Du Zhixiong and the others were solemn as they stared intently at the sky in front of them. Brat, what do you want to do? If you dare to kill me, the Du household will definitely not let you off. A branch family actually dares to attack a member of the main family. This is treason. At this moment, the first elder, who was being held captive by Du Xiaofu, was in a state of panic and shock. There was fear in his eyes. Du Xiaofu did not pay any attention to the captured great elder of the Du household. His eyes swept around the Du household as he shouted, "Everyone of the Du household, listen up. Thousands of years ago, the Du family was divided into two. One branch left the ancestral land, while the other stayed in the ancestral land's Stone City. Since ancient times, those who stayed in the ancestral land were the orthodox main family. Your branch of the family claimed to be the main family of the Du household. This is one of your sins. A branch clan member has trespassed into the main clan, killed the bloodline, injured the clansmen, disturbed the ancestral shrine, disrespected the ancestors, and plundered the items left behind by the ancestors. This is the second great crime. The Du household is heartless, unrighteous, despicable, and shameless. This is the third crime. The Du household is a group of old thieves, deceiving and deceiving me, ambushing and killing. This is the fourth crime, for crimes are punished together, according to the rules of the Du household Stone City, heartless, unrighteous, treacherous, killing the bloodline, injuring the clansmen, disrespecting the ancestors. This is intolerable by the heavens. You are to be killed on the spot." Du Xiaofu's roaring voice came out from his mouth. Each and every crime was pointed at the people of the Du household. His voice was like thunder, resounding throughout the imperial capital, Dragon City. "Old man, you claim to be the main clan of the Du family, but don't forget, the Stone City is the ancestral land of the Du family. Those who live in the ancestral land are the main clan since ancient times. You are the branch clan members. You offended the main clan and disrespected the ancestors of the Du family. Today, I will punish you on behalf of the ancestors of the Du family." Du Xiaofu lowered his head and looked directly at the first elder, who was holding the seal in his hand. His eyes were filled with coldness. This old man wanted to kill him, so how could he let him go? With a wave of his hand, the first elder, who was holding the seal, was ruthlessly thrown into the Du household's main hall, which was currently enveloped by the King's suppression array like a stone. Ah, dazzling symbols! A terrifying aura soared into the sky. The energy distorted the space, and within the oppressive Du household's main hall, the first elder's blood-curdling screams immediately rang out. The energy exploded, causing the space to distort endlessly as it suppressed this part of the world. The King's suppression array was rumored to be able to suppress and kill even a martial king. Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao's appearance did not affect the King's suppression array at all, as they silently exited the array. An ordinary array was completely ineffective against Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao. It was enough for them to treat it as nothing. At this moment, the first elder, who was holding the seal, was thrown into the King's suppression array by Du Xiaofu. His fate was obvious. He would be killed instantly. "Brave God household, listen to my orders. Spare the old, weak, women, and children. Flatten the Du household." In midair, Du Xiaofu's loud roar rang out. The Du household's betrayal and disloyalty had completely infuriated Du Xiaofu's killing intent. Roar! The giant black tiger circling in midair was the first to move. The tiger's roar shook the heavens as it pounced on its prey. Poochie, poochie! Under the black rune storm, there were already over 1,000 people gathered outside the Du household. Instantly, over 100 of them were thrown to the ground. Many of them vomited blood and were sent flying. A large gale of energy swept out, shaking the surrounding streets until they were on the verge of collapsing. Swish! The giant black tiger flapped its wings and waved its tiger claws. The mysterious runes on the talisman fluctuated and emitted a domineering, pale golden light, following which several Du household disciples were directly torn into pieces by its claws. Their flesh and blood were badly mangled, and finally they crumbled into pieces. The demonic tiger is terrifying. Quickly retreat. The Du family disciples outside the Du household were instantly shocked and fearful as they retreated one after another. quickly join forces to deal with that demonic tiger. A Du household martial lord expert shouted as he began to organize the experts to join forces to besiege the king-scaled demonic tiger. Humph! Du Shaoqing shouted as her graceful figure flashed out. She waved her hand and slapped down. The mysterious runes on the green runes surged. Instantly, several Du household martial lord experts did not even have time to react before they were smashed into pieces by Du Shaoqing. Their blood splattered across the square. Huff huff! When they saw Du Xiaoqing's attack, a few martial marquis experts were actually easily killed. When this scene landed in the eyes of Du Zhixiong and Du Yunlong, it was not an ordinary kind of shock. They gasped and were flabbergasted. They could not believe it. Flatten the Du household! Huaning shouted as her profound qi erupted. She led the courage divine king, household guards, and charged out. Flatten the Du household! Instantly, the smell of blood swept across the square. Runes exploded and weapons were unsheathed. The killing aura swept across the square, causing everyone to tremble in fear. The Du household has indeed set up an ambush. This is too much. Do they think that my stone city's Du family has no one? Du Yunlong regained his senses. His cloud robe fluttered as he gripped the 7-foot-long war blade 1,000 kill in his hand. He infused his profound qi, and dazzling runes bloomed. Wang! The war blade seemed to have come to life in an instant as it emitted a thunderous sound. A terrifying aura spread out, and the runes were incomparably sharp. Du Yunlong dashed out and followed the courage divine king, household guards. The stone city's Du family shall not be bullied. Du Xiaoman shouted as her beautiful figure dashed out. With her treasured sword in hand, the sword radiance wreaked havoc. A chilling aura spread out from her eyes as she dashed out. Du Xiaofu killed someone. Run! Du Xiaofu is treacherous. He killed someone. Quickly ask the old patriarch and patriarch to come out of seclusion and kill Du Xiaofu. The entire Du household was shocked. All the experts retreated as they looked at the purple-robed young man in midair. Perhaps no one in the Du household expected that Du Xiaofu would really dare to kill someone. After all, the last time when Du Xiaofu wreaked havoc in the Du household, he did not really kill anyone. But this time, not only did Du Xiaofu kill someone, he even killed the great elder of the Du household. The Du family of the Du household had become a branch family in the mouth of Du Xiaofu. The Du family of the Stone City had always lived in the ancestral land. Since ancient times, they had been the main family of the Du household. The main family was naturally in the ancestral land. The Du household had always regarded themselves as the main family of the Du family, but they could not deny that they came from the Du family of the Stone City. It was just that they had always thought of themselves as the main family. Now that they were said to be a branch family, they could not accept it for a while. A bunch of old thieves. Are you worthy of being the main family of the Du family? You really have no shame. Today, I will give you a taste of your own medicine. Du Xiaofu shouted, his figure swooping down, rushing into the group of experts and elders of the Du family who were fleeing. His target was the person who was the most arrogant. The runic wings on his back flapped, and a golden light erupted. His aura was like a giant pung descending. In an instant, he captured several experts of the Du family and threw them into the king-suppressing array in the main hall. Ah! Suddenly, the king-suppressing array fluctuated, and a killing aura swept across the sky, accompanied by a series of screams. Quickly close the king-suppressing array, quickly! An old man of the Du family shouted in a trembling voice. His eyes were filled with fear, and his whole body was trembling. You should go too. Before the old man's voice fell, he was directly restrained by Du Xiaofu and was thrown into the king-suppressing array along with several other members of the Du family. Then, miserable screams rang out. Is this our own doing? Some of the experts of the Du family were shocked. They watched as the experts of the Du household were killed by the king-suppressing array they had arranged. Their auras were weak, and their hearts were filled with grief. Quickly ask the patriarch and old patriarch to come out of seclusion, quickly. Some of the Du family members were trembling. Even their souls were trembling. That Du Xiaofu was too terrifying. The young lady and the black tiger outside the Du family also made them tremble in fear. Each and every one of the Du family members did not have the strength to resist. Everyone quickly joined forces to form the king-suppressing array to kill Du Xiaofu. Chapter 480. Translator. H2DH2, Mr. An old man from the Du household, let out a shrill cry. Dozens of figures gathered and moved in unison. Waves of lightning aura surged as they formed a large formation to kill Du Xiaofu. Tiger, roar! Suddenly, Du Xiaofu let out a loud cry. Strange runes spread out from his body and formed a formation in the air in front of him. Finally, they condensed into the head of a ferocious giant tiger that was over 100 zhang tall. It was as if the sun was suppressing the heavens and earth. It was incomparably ferocious, as if a divine tiger was looking down on the earth from the sky. Roar! An astonishing tiger roar rang out. Its fangs pierced through the air. The tiger's roar reverberated through the air. This was the ultimate move of the howling sky demon tiger, the tiger roar, that Du Xiaofu had comprehended in the 5 years he had spent in the heavenly martial talisman realm. Even Lu Kuan did not use it in the previous battle. Although its power was not as strong as the sky-shaking wings, it was even more terrifying in this kind of encirclement. Poochie, Poochie! Indeed, following Du Xiaofu's astonishing tiger roar, the dozens of old men and experts from the Du household who had surrounded Du Xiaofu were all sent flying. Blood spurted from their mouths. What a terrifying, brave God King! A single roar was able to heavily injure dozens of experts from the Du household. From the brave God King's tone, it seems like the Du household has gone too far. Just now, the second elder of the Du household brought the brave God King into the Du household. So it turns out that he was lying to the brave God King. He wanted to use a formation to kill him inside. How shameless! I didn't expect the Du household to be so shameless. Is this still the Du household that has protected the empire for thousands of years? Outside the Du household, countless onlookers exclaimed in surprise. Their gazes were all focused on the situation inside the Du household. From the brave God King's loud roar, it was not difficult to understand the general situation. You old bastards aren't qualified to kill me. Flapping his wings, Du Xiaofu soared into the sky. Golden light burst out from his body as he locked onto the Du family members with his psychic power. A punch blasted out, sending a burly man flying into a courtyard. A large area of ground and buildings were turned into dust. That burly man was definitely not going to survive. Old thief, how dare you bully me? Kill! An old man at the martial marquee, profound, level fled. Earlier, he had been clamoring to kill Du Xiaofu, but now he was captured by Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu viciously clenched his fist, causing space to distort. Then the old man's pupils contracted. His expression was one of shock and terror as he was directly reduced to a bloody mist. Today, we will flatten the Du household. Du Xiaofu was incomparably furious. The Du household had repeatedly bullied the Stone City's Du family and his family. This time, they even wanted to trick him into entering the Du household's main hall to kill them. How could he not be furious? This Du family was said to be of the same lineage, but they were even more vicious and merciless than their enemies. They even made Du Xiaofu bitterly disappointed. How could he not go on a killing spree? Rumble, like a giant rock spreading its wings, a large area of the palace and courtyard collapsed. The ground cracked, and the miserable cries of the Du family members could be heard. At this moment, Du Xiaofu could imagine that when the Du household betrayed them, they probably felt the same unspeakable pain as him. Drunkard father, mother, sister, the debt that the Du household owed us, I will take it back now. Du Xiaofu's eyes were filled with tears. He did not stop attacking, destroying and killing everything. Rumble. Wherever Du Xiaofu passed, the courtyards, the fake mountains, the ground, and the pavilions all collapsed. The cracks on the ground continued to spread. Going on a killing spree, there was no longer any mercy to speak of. At this time, Du Xiaofu was going on a killing spree. Old bastard, you betrayed my family, betrayed the Stone City's Du family. Buzz! The more Du Xiaofu killed, the more sorrowful he felt. The more furious he became. The green gold light in his hand exploded, and the tyrannical shadow also appeared in his hand. The green gold light scattered, the runes flowed, and the tyrannical shadow seemed to be formed by nature. The energy of heaven and earth suddenly surged and gathered, and a tyrannical and fierce aura filled the air. Whoosh! The green gold light shone brightly. Du Xiaofu swung his sword and directly chopped a Du family expert into pieces. He was unstoppable. Chi-la-la layers of light bloomed on top of the tyrannical shadow, and the sword body turned into layers of green gold sword whips that were like the golden feathers of a golden rock. They seemed to be formed by nature and were closely linked together, like a spiritual python that attacked, a dragon that soared into the sky. It also pierced through the chests of several Du household experts that were fleeing in different directions at an unbelievable angle, killing them within, starting a massacre, suppressing everything. No, don't kill. Some Du family experts trembled, their eyes filled with fear. At this moment, they were completely intimidated. In such a huge Du household, there were as many experts as there were clouds, but at this moment, there was no one who could stop Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu, for you to kill like this, for such treason, you will definitely suffer the wrath of the heavens. The second elder's body floated low in the air, watching the bloody scene in the Du household. A large number of Du family experts and Du family disciples were being massacred. His eyes were blood red, and his heart was filled with grief. The ones who bullied Stone City's Du family are all of you. The ones who bullied my family are all of you. And this time the ones who wanted to kill me are also all of you. You bunch of old bastards have reversed yin and yang. This is the true treason. The wrath of the heavens is too late. I will definitely kill you today. Du Xiaofu appeared in front of the second elder. His eyes were blood red, and his killing intent was soaring. His terrifying aura was like that of a peerless beast, causing the second elder's body to tremble, and his soul to suddenly throb with unease. Kill! Du Xiaofu swung his sword. It was a simple sword, but at this moment it was enough to shake mountains and rivers, destroying everything. A deep trench appeared on the ground below, and cracks appeared one after another. It was as if an earthquake had occurred, shocking people's souls. Chi! The second elder's expression changed greatly, and he quickly retreated. But this time it was too late. Don't! The second elder was terrified. He realized that he was wrong. He did not dare to anger Du Xiaofu. He should not have thought that Du Xiaofu would not dare to really kill. In a short moment, where the sword light passed, one of the second elder's arms was directly destroyed. His panicked Xian Qi talisman defense was immediately cut off, and he immediately opened his mouth to scream, blood dripping. The second elder's eyes were filled with fear. At this moment, he truly realized that in front of Du Xiaofu, he actually had no power to resist. He was at the peak of the complete martial lord realm, and was known as the #1 person below the martial king realm. He could break through and become a king at any time, but he did not expect that in front of Du Xiaofu, he would be in such a sorry state. You bunch of old bastards are not qualified to kill me. Du Xiaofu rushed out again, the hair behind his back fluttering. He swung his sword down, and the second elder's other arm was directly cut off, dripping with blood. His voice was mournful, and his old face was distorted, extremely miserable. Bang! 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 Du Xiaoyao's huge red-bone horse monkey body was also on a killing spree. One by one, the experts of the Du royal residence were directly smashed into meat paste, and the spiritual weapons and 3 ordinary talisman weapons were directly swallowed under the dumbfounded gazes of many. Kill! In the Du royal residence, Huan Ing and the other guards of the Courage God residence were also on a killing spree, with the king-scaled demonic tiger and Du Shaoqing sweeping through all the experts. Huan Ing and the rest were unobstructed, and there was a bloody massacre. Flatten the Du royal residence. The guards of the Courage God residence were not merciful people, and when they saw the people of the Du royal residence deceiving the Courage God residence, they were enraged and did not hold back. In an instant, the Du royal residence was filled with endless screams, and blood flowed like a river. It was extremely tragic. Du Xiaofu, don't kill anymore. Let's talk nicely, don't kill me. The second elder was terrified. In the face of absolute death, no one would be afraid, and he was no exception. Although he was old, he definitely did not want to live long enough. Do you know fear now? Do you know that the Stone City's Du family is not to be trifled with? Ha! Du Xiaofu laughed, and his laughter sent chills down one's spine. He appeared in front of the second elder, and with a ruthless kick, he kicked the second elder from midair into a huge palace below. Blood splattered everywhere, and the palace collapsed. Miserable screams could be heard from the pile of rubble. Get out here! Du Xiaofu waved his hand, and a suction force gushed out from his palm, and the second elder, who was kicked into the rubble, was directly sucked into his palm. The pitiful second elder was covered in blood, and both his arms were broken. His face was distorted, and he was in extreme pain. His body was also in a sorry state, and many of his old ribs were broken. Enough! All of you stop! Suddenly, an aged voice rang out from the depths of the Du household, following which several figures appeared in midair. The first one was an old man with an aged face, but his body was well built, and his eyes were like lightning in the dark clouds, causing one's heart to palpitate. High up in the sky, dark clouds were faintly gathering, and the world became dusky. There did not seem to be any aura fluctuations on the old man's body, but for no reason, he was able to affect this part of the world. Behind the old man was a majestic figure. His entire body was wrapped in multicolored light, and extremely terrifying fluctuations rippled around his body. He looked to be in his 50s, and a bright silver snake light was released from his body, causing one to be intimidated. He was the current head of the Du family, the protector king, Du Qingqing. Behind Du Qingqing, there were also several figures. They were the elites of the younger generation of the Du family, Du Chang, Du Yi, Du Qi, Dianxin, and the rest. It's the head of the family and the old head. We have hope. The head of the family is here. Old head, head of the family, save us. The people of the Du household, who were wailing miserably and terrified, suddenly saw the 2 figures in midair. It was as if they had seen hope in the midst of despair, as they respectfully bowed and shouted, "It's the Protector King and the old Protector King." 17 years ago, the old Protector King announced that he would go into seclusion. In the face of such a major event, he has finally come out. The gazes of the surrounding spectators trembled slightly. Facing the old Protector King and the current Protector King, there was a lack of respect and awe in their gazes. After all, today many people had witnessed the scene of the Du household being ruined on the inside. Today's explosion, the second watch, has arrived. Continue to write, ask for fresh flowers, recommendations, and other support. Chapter 481. Following the arrival of the 2 Protector Kings, a terrifying aura spread throughout the area, causing Phantom and the rest to temporarily stop fighting. The Du family disciples of the Du household also retreated. Roar! The king-scaled demonic tiger and Du Xiaoqing's figures swept through the air, arriving behind Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao, tightly surrounding Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao, especially the king-scaled demonic tiger. Its ferocious black tiger body towered over the sky, causing the eyes of the old man in front and Protector King Du Qingqing to flicker uncertainly. However, in comparison, Protector King Du Qingqing was more wary of Du Shaoqing at this moment. He was well aware of Du Shaoqing's terrifying strength. Du Xiaofu's gaze also landed on the old man in front. From what the North vanquishing prince had told him, Du Xiaofu had seen this old man in the scene 17 years ago. That old man was the protector king of the Du family. His seemingly calm aura gave off a sense of danger, affecting this part of the world. He was definitely an extremely powerful existence. I didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, you would have already grown up and become so extraordinary. For my sake, let go, that's enough. The old protector king looked at Du Xiaofu, his old face unperturbed. Do you think I let it go just because you say so? That's easy for you to say. Du Xiaofu sneered, exerting more force in his hand. The second elder, who was being squeezed in his palm, screamed in pain, spitting out blood continuously. Old patriarch, save me. For the Du household, for the Du family, kill this bastard. The second elder screamed and begged loudly. His eyes, which were originally filled with despair and fear, were once again filled with hope because of the old patriarch's arrival. Old bastard! Du Xiaofu exerted force. Once again, golden light erupted and distorted space, causing the second elder to immediately spit out blood again. His mouth was filled with miserable shrieks as blood dripped from it. Child, let go of second elder. Second elder is already old, and you have killed so many people. Du Palace and Shi Cheng's Du family are of the same origin. Why bother killing each other? The old protector king sighed, looking at the blood flowing like a river inside and outside the Du Palace. His eyes were filled with grief. Du Xiaofu looked straight at the old protector king and said, "This old thief is already old. Are you bullying me because I'm young? Du Xiaofu, how dare you be so rude in front of your grandfather?" In the crowd, Du Qi shouted, but there was a hint of fear in his eyes. However, he was relying on the fact that both the new and old protector kings were by his side. "If you dare to say it again, I will kill you on the spot. I guarantee that even the two kings of your Du household will not be able to save your little life." Du Xiaofu suddenly glared at Du Qi and shouted loudly. A fierce aura suddenly swept out, scaring Du Qi to the point that he couldn't help but retreat. "Shut up!" Protector King Du Qingqing turned his head and shouted at Du Qi. Lightning flashed in his eyes as a pressure spread and a mighty aura surged. With a soft cry, Du Qi, who was still being protected, immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was deathly pale, and he no longer dared to make a sound. "Child, Du Palace was wrong in the past. What conditions do you want? I will agree to it as long as it is within my ability. Don't kill any more. After all, we are of the same origin." The old protector king looked at Du Xiaofu and said, the expression on his old face became gloomy. "Haha, what a good origin. When my family was hunted down, it was in this Du Palace right here. Where did your origin go?" "A group of old thieves from Du Palace went to Stone City's Du family and hurt my relatives. They disrespected the ancestors of the Du family. Where did your origin go?" "Just a moment ago, the old bastard in my hands tricked me into entering the Du household and activated the Great Formation to kill me. If not for the fact that I had the means to escape, I would have long been reduced to ashes." "Where did your lineage go?" Du Xiaofu laughed coldly. His voice was loud and cold as he asked 3 questions in a row, resounding across the sky. Sigh, the old protector let out a long sigh as if he was speechless. "You have nothing to say? Then let me say it." Du Xiaofu looked at the old protector king, and then loudly said, "Invite second uncle!" Qi, hearing this, Du Zhixiong looked at the sky in front of him. Then, profound energy surged from the soles of his feet. His figure swept across the sky and arrived beside Du Xiaofu. With the resources that Du Xiaoman brought back last time, he had finally broken through to the initial level of the pulse spirit stage. Du Xiaofu loudly asked Du Zhixiong, "Second uncle, as a disciple of the Du family, What should we do if we betray the family and betray the family? Under the pressure of the old Protector King and Protector King Du Qingqing, Du Zhixiong was affected. However, at this time he also gathered his courage and loudly said, "As a disciple of the Du family, if we betray the family and betray the family and betray the family, we will expel them from the Du family and destroy their cultivation. In severe cases, we will kill them to prevent them from harming others." A group of old thieves from the Du royal residence went to the Stone City Du family, violated the main family, disrespected the ancestors of the Du family, stole the ancestors' belongings, and killed each other. What should we do? Du Xiaofu loudly asked again. Du Zhixiong said, violated the main family, disrespected the ancestors of the Du family, stole the ancestors' belongings, and killed each other. The order of the ancestors is to kill them on the spot. All of you heard it clearly. Du Xiaofu looked at the old Protector King and said, "Hand over all the people who violated the Stone City's ancestral land. Otherwise, I will start a massacre today. I guarantee that you will not be able to protect the Du royal residence." As the sound of Du Xiaofu's voice faded, everyone's hearts trembled. Facing the old patriarch of the Du household, the previous generation's protector, Du Xiaofu could still be so awe-inspiring, saying that even the old patriarch would not be able to protect the Du household. How tyrannical was this? It seems like the Courage God King, Du Xiaofu, wants to flatten the Du royal residence today. Someone in the crowd exclaimed in shock. This was the Courage God King expressing his anger. The Du royal residence had thoroughly infuriated the Courage God King, which was why the Courage God King was so relentless. No matter what, this was the most shocking event in the imperial capital since the founding of the Stone Dragon Empire. The old Protector King looked at Du Xiaofu and sighed. "Why don't you let me deal with the people you want? I won't let them off easily. I will also return the ancestral shrine's stone coffin to you. How about it? Do you think I will trust the Du royal residence again?" As soon as Du Xiaofu's voice fell, he exerted force in his palm. Immediately, a golden talisman burst out from his palm. "Ah!" The second elder let out a miserable howl once again. His internal organs were about to be shattered. He was in incomparable pain and was in extremely miserable state. "No, let go of him!" The old Protector King seemed to have sensed something and immediately shouted. "Du Xiaofu, stop killing!" The Protector King, Du Qingqing, shouted as his expression changed. Lightning erupted from his body, and he immediately pounced towards Du Xiaofu. "Humph!" Du Xiaoqing snorted as the green talisman runes on her palm erupted. It was as though a green ocean had drowned the sky. With a surge of energy, she slapped her palm towards the Protector King, Du Qingqing. "Roar! Roar!" As Du Xiaoqing made her move, the terrifying aura caused a large number of demonic beasts to groan. All the human meridian spirits couldn't withstand the terrifying aura, and their meridian spirits trembled as though they were about to explode. The Protector King's expression changed as he waved his hand. A lightning fist immediately collided with Du Xiaoqing's palm. Rumble! Suddenly, the collision caused a large area of space to explode. The energy swept across the sky, and in the Du royal residence, a large area of the courtyard exploded. The ground cracked continuously as though it was about to be destroyed. Chi la la! Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the Protector King's body was directly pushed back. Du Xiaoqing's delicate body only swayed slightly as she took a step back. "Child, come down first. After all, we are of the same origin. Let's talk things over." At the same time, the Protector King's figure had already appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. In his palm, there were bright lightning runes surging, as though it was connected to the dark clouds behind him. With a terrifying energy fluctuation, it directly enveloped Du Xiaofu. At this moment, Du Xiaofu held his sword in one hand and the second elder of the Du royal residence in the other. His eyes were filled with coldness, but there wasn't the slightest bit of worry. "Sigh, don't tell me you have really become senile." Suddenly a sigh resounded. An icy aura spread out, and a thin figure appeared in the sky. As this thin figure appeared, the thin old body waved his hand. Icy runes flew out, covering the sky with frost. It was as though this part of the world had suddenly fallen into winter. The terrifying aura immediately collided with the Protector King's palm. Walala! The lightning aura and icy aura collided, but there wasn't much of a sonic boom. After the collision, the terrifying energy also didn't spread far away. Instead, it was directly annihilated, turning into nothingness. Clearly, the cultivation level of these two people wasn't much different. Their comprehension was even more superb. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to reach this step. The thin old man's figure slightly retreated. His figure was skinny, and his wrinkled face was dark. He was the North Vanquishing Prince, Xie Tianhong. Haha, it really is the Du royal residence, Du Xiaofu sneered. With a wave of his hand, a cracking sound suddenly resounded from his palm, following which a golden light seeped out from the second elder's body. The energy in his body rioted, and finally his body exploded in the air like a bomb. Bang, bang, bang. With a low muffled sound, the second elder of the Du royal residence, who is known as the #1 person below the martial king level, directly exploded in Du Xiaofu's palm. In front of the Protector King, Du Xiaofu killed the second elder of the Du royal residence. He didn't hold back, and his killing intent was swift and fierce. Chapter 482. Second Elder. The Great Elder was killed by the King's subduing formation, and now the second elder was also killed by Du Xiaofu. Everyone in the Du household was trembling. Perhaps it was only at this time that they realized what kind of fiend they had provoked this time. In the air, the old Guardian King was surrounded by lightning. He looked at the North Vanquishing King and sighed. "Hey, old friend, do you want to interfere too? You don't want this grandson of yours, but I want him. Since he called me Grandpa Xie, he will no longer have no one to rely on in the capital, with this old man around. Even if those people from back then come, as long as Xie Tianhong is around, the Xie family will not take a step back." The North Vanquishing King looked at the old Guardian King and sighed. "What a good kid! How can I watch you bully him? My heart hurts." Grandpa Xie. Du Xiaofu came to the side of the North Vanquishing King, his eyes worried. He knew that the North Vanquishing King was poisoned and could not fight. "I'm fine." North Vanquishing Prince patted Du Xiaofu's shoulder and said with a smile, "I don't think I have many days left to live. You can do whatever you want today. If you have any grievances, just vent them out. Even if I have to risk my life, Grandpa Xie will protect you from being bullied. But don't kill too many innocent people. Just deal with the main characters and don't affect your future foundation." Du Xiaofu was a little dizzy. He did not speak, but his heart was filled with warmth. Yes, what a good kid. The old protector heaved a long sigh. His face turned gloomy. He turned around and looked at the Du family's messy and miserable state. "The elders and experts of the Du family," he said, "hand over the stone coffin of the Stone City's Du family. Those who have been to the Stone City's Du family, stand out." "Old Master, the ancestral item should belong to the Du household." Some old people spoke up, unwilling to hand over the stone coffin. Now that the old master and the Guardian King were here, they should not be afraid of Du Xiaofu. "Old family head, inform the other kings to kill that Du Xiaofu together." Someone suggested to inform the other kings in the imperial capital to work together to kill Du Xiaofu. When one king was in trouble, the other kings would provide support. This was an unwritten agreement that had always existed between the various king palaces. "Shut up!" The old Protector King shouted and waved his hand. Two thunderous fingerprints flew down and landed on the two people who were talking. Poochie, the two of them seemed to have been struck by lightning. Their bodies fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. Blood spurted out from their mouths. Their eyes were filled with confusion and shock. They did not know why the old patriarch would attack them. "I'll say it one more time. Hand over the sarcophagus of the Stone City's Du family." Everyone who has been to the Stone City's Du family, get the hell out! The old Protector King shouted. Lightning flashed in his eyes, causing the people of the Du household to tremble uneasily. Old Master, the stone coffin is in the Chinquin bag. An elder in his 50s handed over a Chinquin pouch. Immediately after, a dozen people walked out from the crowd. 2 of them were large men, and their eyes were filled with fear. Chi, the old protector waved his hand and sucked the old man's Chinquin pouch into his palm. He tossed it to Du Xiaofu and said, "The stone coffin is here." Du Xiaofu waved his hand and received the Chinquin bag. There was no restriction on it. He probed it with his spiritual power. The familiar stone coffin of the ancestral shrine was inside the Chinquin bag. His face darkened. He then put the Chinquin bag into his bosom. Those who have been to Shur City's Du family, destroy your own cultivation. The old guardian king shouted at the 10 or so people who had been to the Du family in Stone City and ordered them to destroy their own cultivation. Old family head, you can't do this. Du Xiaofu wants to exterminate my Du household. Old clan head, Du Xiaofu is cruel and ruthless. He wants to exterminate our clan. We must kill him. We cannot let him exterminate our clan. The expressions of the 10 or so people who had been to Shur City's Du family suddenly changed. They all shouted out. There were also many old experts shouting in the surroundings. "So it was you who hurt my second uncle, hurt my eldest uncle, hurt my relatives. You can't be forgiven." Du Xiaofu furiously attacked. The tyrant shadow in his hand turned into an azure gold sword whip. It was demonic and strange. It streaked across the sky like lightning. Swish, swish, swish! The sword light erupted and cut through the air. At this time, how could these people resist the furious Du Xiaofu? The azure gold sword whip instantly pierced through the chests of the 10 or so people. Pucci, Pucci! The 10 or so people led by the 2 middle-aged men were pale. Their mouths were dripping with blood. They looked at the dazzling sword whip that pierced through their chests. The vitality in their body was instantly destroyed. Their eyes were filled with unwillingness and fear. Their eyes were filled with shock and despair, but they no longer had the strength to struggle. Swish! The azure gold sword whip retracted. The bodies of the 10 or so people fell from the sky. More than 10 people were killed on the spot, causing everyone from the Du household to be alarmed. Their bodies were trembling, and even their souls were palpitating. Why did it turn out like this? Why? Du Yunxin stood in the air under the persuasion of a burly man. She looked at the elders of her family being killed on the spot. Her eyes were filled with grief and tears. When the heavens do evil, one can still survive. But when it comes to evil, one cannot survive. The burly man sighed. Sigh, the old Protector King, and Du Xiaoqing were in grief. Their eyes were trembling, but they didn't stop him. They knew that if they did, the North Vanquishing King and Du Xiaoqing would also make a move. And now, there was no one in the Du household who could resist Du Xiaofu, not even Du Chong. Around King Du's residence, countless gazes from afar were also shocked. In front of the old king, the Courage King Du Xiaofu actually killed so many people in a domineering manner. How tyrannical and unstoppable was he? The old Protector King looked at Du Xiaofu with a gloomy expression. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "Child, that's enough. You have killed enough people. Seeing that we are of the same bloodline, let's forget about it. The Huangji pellet. Hand over the Huangji pellet. Otherwise, I will not let this go." Du Xiaofu shouted. How could he not take revenge for his drunkard father? As Du Xiaofu's voice faded, a young man slowly walked in from behind the old Protector King. It was the Du family's Du Chong. His figure was tall and elegant. His light blue robe fluttered slightly. He didn't look ostentatious, but he had an extraordinary aura of nobility. "I have already taken the Huangji pellet. I hand myself over to you. You can kill me or cut me up as you wish, but let go of the Du household. Whether you are willing to admit it or not, We are of the same bloodline. The Du family had no choice in what happened back then. Du Chong walked out. His face was handsome, and the light in his eyes flickered. Looking at Du Xiaofu, he said, "If you want to blame someone, then blame the Du household for being a little selfish. In these 17 years, grandfather and father have also felt guilty for 17 years. I consumed the mighty emperor pill that Uncle Tingxian gave me. Back then, my first set of martial skills was taught to me by Uncle Tingxian, and it was Uncle Tingxian who taught me how to comprehend my first martial skill. Instead, I watched as your family was surrounded by powerful enemies, but I was powerless to do anything." Du Xiaofu stared at the genius Du Chong. 17 years ago, the extraordinary child who protected the king was none other than this genius from the Du clan. Du Xiaofu had personally witnessed that scene. The Emperor Ascension pellet, his drunkard father brought over from the Tianwu Academy, was the Emperor Ascension pellet the Du clan wanted to lay down a good foundation for him, paving the way for him to cultivate. Du Chong stepped back. "It's not your turn to speak here. Step back." The old protector king reprimanded Du Xiaofu. His figure blocked in front of Du Chong. Looking at Du Xiaofu, his expression seemed to have aged quite a bit. He opened his mouth and said, "It seems like you want to collect the debt from back then as well. That's good too. There will be a day when it will be settled." As his voice faded, the old protector king's gaze swept past Du Xiaofu and finally landed on Du Yunlong. He said, "Child, are you also a member of the Stone City's Du family?" "Stone City's Du family, Du Yunlong." Du Yunlong walked out with the 1,000 kill in his hand. His cloud robe fluttered in the wind, and his aura was extraordinary. Du Yunlong, a good name. I just don't know how courageous the Stone City's Du family's children are. Do you dare to come closer and let me see the elegance of the Stone City's Du family's children? If you are afraid that I will harm you, then forget it." The old protector king faintly smiled. At this moment, there was no aura from his body. His eyes that were originally filled with lightning only had a kind expression left. The Du family's children are never cowards. Du Yunlong walked out. He believed that the old protector king of the Du family would not go as far as to openly attack him. Du Xiaofu did not stop him. Under the gaze of countless people in Dragon City, even the old protector king would not harm his second brother. However, in his heart he was still on guard. The tyrannical shadow in his hand was covered with mysterious runes, ready to explode at any time. "You are indeed extraordinary. You are a talented person. You are another good child of my Du family." The old protector king faintly smiled. Suddenly, the calm sky without any aura suddenly surged with wind and clouds. In a flash, silver snakes flickered and dark clouds gathered in the sky. A large area of space was distorted like a tornado. "Everyone, don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions." At this moment, Du Xiaofu, Du Zhixiong, Du Xiaoman, and Du Xiaoqing's expressions changed greatly. However, at this critical moment, the old protector king's voice came out from the distorted lightning storm. At the same time, under everyone's gaze, the terrifying energy tornado in the sky had completely enveloped the old protector king and Du Yunlong. High up in the sky, the wind and clouds surged. The surrounding space was filled with flashes of lightning. Just looking at it made one's scalp tingle. Rumble. High up in the sky, the rumbling of thunder resounded incessantly, accompanied by a large amount of mysterious runes. Lightning and thunder continuously turned into countless lightning bolts. When that kind of pressure descended, it was filled with destruction. It made everyone in the surroundings tremble with fear. Their souls trembled and they wanted to crawl. What a terrifying old protector king! Some people were shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. At this moment, if that terrifying lightning fell, it was likely that half of the imperial capital would be destroyed. Everyone present would be turned into ashes by that terrifying lightning. Xiao Yu is still writing. His ranking on the fresh flower list is about to be destroyed. Brothers, if you still have fresh flowers, help protect your chrysanthemums. We can't let it be destroyed in an instant. That would be too disgraceful. Chapter 483. Uft! Among all the spectators outside the Dew residence, those with relatively lower cultivation directly spat out blood in the midst of this destructive aura and thunder. This kind of energy was too terrifying. No one could resist it at all. Du Xiaofu also revealed a shocked expression at this moment. This terrifying aura was even stronger than the North Vanquishing King's aura. It was extremely terrifying. I didn't expect this old fellow's cultivation to have reached such a level. Sigh! The North Vanquishing King looked at the sky and sighed softly. At this moment, he seemed to have discovered something. His expression changed a lot, and finally it was full of emotion. Crackle! The thunderclouds in the sky churned, and it was still getting more and more intense. The low rumble of thunder resounded continuously, and the silver snake light shuttled back and forth. It was extremely terrifying, as if it was going to destroy everything. The dazzling light of thunder and lightning illuminated the entire imperial city. The terrifying and intimidating aura had already made countless people prostrate themselves and numb the ears of many spectators. This terrifying aura and shocking and magnificent scene lasted for a few minutes. Then thunderbolts poured down from the sky like a storm, wreaking havoc in the sky. Then the thick thunderclouds and terrifying energy storm began to gradually dissipate. Finally, under countless shocked and terrified gazes, two resplendent figures of young master, wrapped in lightning talisman patterns, appeared. The radiance was so bright that everyone could vaguely recognize that it was the old Guardian King and Du Yunlong. However, at this moment, the two of them were strangely connected. Du Yunlong stood upright with his arms raised and his palms spread out. The old Guardian King's body was upside down in midair. Their palms were tightly pressed together, and the top of their heads were vertically connected. Similarly, resplendent lightning flashed and enveloped their bodies. Crackle! A vast and shocking amount of energy seemed to be continuously flowing from the old Guardian King's body into Du Yunlong's body. Du Yunlong's eyes were tightly shut, as if he had entered a mysterious state. Crackle! At the same time, resplendent lightning talisman patterns surged out of the old Guardian King's body, forming a palm-sized thunderball at his lower abdomen. Boom! Above the thunderball, the pressure was terrifying, as if it contained enough energy to destroy this part of the world. Resplendent lightning flashed around it, like a thunder and lightning beast roaring in the sky. Chi-la-la! The silver snake's radiance danced wildly, covering the sky and covering the earth. It shook one's soul and made one's heart tremble. Go! The old Guardian King moved. His body landed on the ground, and amidst the resplendent glow of the lightning talisman runes, the two separated their palms. Then, under the astonished gazes of the crowd, the energy lightning ball in front of him was directly smashed into Du Yunlong's forehead. Rumble! The ball of lightning landed between Du Yunlong's eyebrows. Immediately, the beautiful silver lightning overflowed and wreaked havoc, turning into countless dazzling silver snakes of light. They continuously flowed along Du Yunlong's skin and then directly entered his body and disappeared. Sigh! Standing in the air, North Vanquishing Prince looked at everything in front of him and sighed helplessly. Phew! High up in the sky, the terrifying thunderclouds dispersed and everything began to disappear. Everyone outside the Dew household slowly regained their senses. Zizi! High up in the sky, the lightning talisman patterns around Du Yunlong's body also dissipated. But his eyes were still closed, and from time to time, lightning flashed around his body. At this moment, the old Guardian King seemed to have aged 30 years in an instant. His hair was white, his complexion was pale, and layers of wrinkles accumulated on his face. His aura was extremely weak and dispirited. North Vanquishing Prince looked at the old Guardian King and softly asked helplessly, "Old man, why do you have to do this?" "Some debts have to be repaid." I had no choice back then, but now I have to pay. The old guardian king looked at North vanquishing prince with a wry smile, and then looked at Du Xiaofu. Child, the Huangji pill has already been consumed by Du Yunlong. I can't pay it back. I will use my lifetime of cultivation to pay it back. As for how many benefits Du Yunlong can obtain, it will depend on him. My cultivation base should not be too far off from the Huangji pill. As for the debt that the Du household owes your family, every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. Back then, I was the head of the Du household, so naturally I have to pay it back. I can only use my old life to pay it back. When Du Xiaofu heard this, he looked at the dispirited old man in front of him. His heart trembled, and he could no longer maintain his original domineering aura. For a moment, he did not know what to say. All the descendants of the Du household, listen up. The Du household has been deeply respected by the empire for countless years, causing many people to become unruly and arrogant. They have become supercilious, disregarding human relations and ethics. This has already planted the seeds of decay in the Du household. Sooner or later, there will be a big problem. Our Du household has a golden exterior, but it has long been ruined. I hope that this incident will wake you all up. You can only blame yourselves for everything. In the future, when you do things, you must remember the rules of the Du family. You must not be arrogant. The voice of the old guardian king slowly reverberated in the air. It was not domineering, nor was it thunderous. But when it fell into the ears of the Du household, it made everyone tremble and their souls tremble. Grandfather! Du Chang and Du Yunxin's eyes were filled with tears, their bodies trembling. The guardian king once again looked at Du Xiaofu and asked, Child, on account of my old face, can you let this matter go? Looking at the old man in front of him, Du Xiaofu's heart was inexplicably fluctuating. He nodded his head and said, Okay, I will let this matter go. But if the Du household still comes to provoke the Stone City's Du family and provoke me in the future, I will not be polite. Don't worry. I believe that in the future they will not be able to provoke you, nor will they dare to provoke you. The old protector smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with benevolence as he looked at Du Xiaofu and spoke in a soft voice. Child, you really do resemble your father. I'm going to pay my debt for what happened back then. But before that, to be able to see a junior like you in the Du clan, I'm already content. Old friend, I will take my leave first. Goodbye. The old guardian king said to the North vanquishing prince. After his voice faded, he closed his eyes, his hands drooped down, and no more words came out. Why? Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to do this? The North vanquishing prince's figure instantly appeared beside the old guardian king. A wave of energy enveloped the old guardian king's body. The old guardian king's eyes were a little moist. He then looked at the surrounding Du household members and said, The old guardian king has passed away! Grandfather, old master! Immediately, everyone from the Du household knelt on the ground and cried out sorrowfully. Their eyes were filled with tears. The grief in their hearts was unbearable. Old guardian king, rest in peace. Among the countless spectators in the surroundings, there were some who bowed respectfully to send him off. More and more people bowed respectfully to the old man in the air, whose eyes were tightly shut. At this final moment, everyone was touched. Old man, rest in peace. Around the imperial capital, there were several hidden auras hovering in the sky. The auras fluctuated and didn't disperse for a long time. Roar! At this moment, in the depths of the vast imperial palace, a dragon's roar could be heard. It seemed to be lamenting the departure of the old guardian king. The old guardian king, the most famous expert of the Stone Dragon Empire, had fallen just like that. At this moment, the entire imperial capital was solemnly silent as they respectfully sent the old guardian king off. Father! The old guardian king went to the North vanquishing prince's side and hugged the old guardian king's body. His eyes, which were filled with lightning, were currently filled with tears. My condolences. The North Vanquishing Prince softly said to the old Guardian King. The old Guardian King slightly nodded to the North Vanquishing Prince. Then he slowly disappeared into the depths of the Dew household with the old Guardian King's body in his arms. Following that, a faint and hoarse voice came from the sky. Dew household's descendants, listen up. From today onwards, the position of patriarch of the Dew household will be passed on to Dew Yinshin. No objections. This old man's inheritance has been passed on to your second brother. He himself can only be like an oil lamp that has dried up. This is the price of the inheritance. At this moment, Zhen Qingquan's rather emotional voice also sounded in Du Xiaofu's ears. Rest in peace. Looking at the body of the old protector king leaving, looking at the mess below and the Dew household that was mostly in ruins, Du Xiaofu's heart did not have the slightest trace of joy after collecting a debt. Instead, he was filled with emotions, his gaze solemn as he respectfully bowed towards the sky. Rest in peace. Du Zhixiong and Du Xiaoman looked at the sky and bowed with a solemn expression. Let's go. Du Xiaofu waved his hand, and a suction force wrapped around his second brother, Du Yunlong, who was not far away. He intended to leave. PFFF. At this moment, the North Vanquishing Prince spat out a mouthful of blood. His face suddenly became paler, and his aura began to weaken. Then he closed his eyes, and a strange aura began to riot in his body. Grandfather! Xia Fei's figure appeared beside North Vanquishing Prince and supported him. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry, and her brows were tightly knitted. Grandpa Xia, what's wrong? Du Xiaofu handed Du Yunlong over to Du Xiaoqing, and immediately went to North Vanquishing King and Xia Fei. Xia Fei said, the poison on Grandpa's body is getting worse and worse. He can't fight anymore. I think it's because of the fight with the king. He must have been traumatized just now. Now that the poison is attacking his heart, he's in big trouble. Zhen Qingquan's voice sounded in Du Xiaofu's ears again. At dusk, the sun was setting in the west, and the red clouds covered the sky. Continue writing, ask for flowers. Chapter 484. The bamboo forest was shrouded in red clouds. Inside a simple room in a simple courtyard, the North Vanquishing Prince's dark and skinny body was lying flat on the bed. Chi, North Vanquishing Prince's aura was extremely cold. His whole body was emitting an extremely cold aura. Ordinary people could not touch him at all. Even if an ordinary marshal, marquis, realm, cultivator touched him, he would immediately be covered in frost and then frozen into ice. In front of the bed, there were dozens of elders and middle-aged men standing respectfully. They were all experts from the Xia Manor. They were all looking at the North Vanquishing Prince on the bed with concern. The poison is attacking the heart. What a powerful ice poison! Beside the bed, Du Xiaofu withdrew his hand seal. His expression was solemn and his brows were tightly knitted. Du Xiaofu knew that the North Vanquishing Prince was injured by the ice poison. If it was mild, the poison could be suppressed for a while. However, the ice poison in the North Vanquishing Prince's body was too severe. It had reached the point where it was attacking his heart. Du Xiaofu had some knowledge in alchemy, but he didn't know much about poison. Therefore, he was at his wit's end. Grandfather's poison is too severe. The ice poison of the ferocious beast in the Arctic glacier is too terrifying. Even if Grandfather cultivates the ice attribute cultivation method and understands the ice attribute profound, he still can't resist it. This time, I'm afraid. Xia Fei's delicate face was filled with worry. Her eyes had lost their usual vigor, and her brows were tightly knitted. It was hard not to feel pity for her. Xia Fei knew the horror of the poison in her grandfather's body. All these years, she had asked countless people to help her grandfather, but they couldn't remove the poison in his body. They couldn't even suppress it. It was said that there was someone in the palace who could suppress the poison for a while, but her grandfather never went to find him. She could understand some of the reasons behind this. If the person in the imperial palace suppressed them, Then, if a powerful enemy suddenly appeared in the empire, the consequences would be worrying. It seemed that it was also because of this that her grandfather didn't go to the imperial palace to say anything for the sake of the empire. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu looked at the Xie clan's experts and the middle-aged man in the room and said, "Seniors, can you please wait outside? I want to check Grandpa Xie again. If there are too many people, it might affect me." "Okay, we will stand guard outside. Please do your best. If you can save him, I will be very grateful." A middle-aged man with an extraordinary bearing said to Du Xiaofu, his eyes full of worry, "Don't worry. I'll do my best. I hope Grandpa Xie will be fine," Du Xiaofu said. "Thank you," the middle-aged man said. Then he let everyone out of the room and closed the door behind him. Xie Fei looked up at Du Xiaofu and asked, "Should I go out?" "No need, but remember to keep this a secret for me." Du Xiaofu shook his head. Then he took out a small pagoda and said softly, "Brother Qing Chen, you can come out now." Phew! The small pagoda was covered with mysterious runes. Then, under Xie Fei's stunned gaze, Zhen Qingchuan's wretched Yuan spirit body appeared in the room. He immediately began to check North Vanquishing Prince's body. Zhen Qingchen appeared because Du Xiaofu wanted to ask his big brother Zhen Qingchen to check on North Vanquishing Prince's condition. That was why he asked the Xie clan's people to leave first. Seeing the illusory figure examining her grandfather, Xie Fei was confused and curious. However, she didn't ask. However, the shock on Xie Fei's face was self-evident. Obviously, that was the body of a primordial spirit. Any expert who could have a primordial spirit was a legendary existence. Even if it was just a primordial spirit, it was absolutely terrifying. At this moment, Xie Fei couldn't help but think. No wonder Du Xiaofu dared to say that he could flatten the Du household in front of the two protector kings. It turned out that other than Du Xiaoqing, he had such a terrifying backing. Of course, Xie Fei didn't know that Zhen Qingchen hadn't recovered much. However, Xie Fei's guess was right. Du Xiaofu relied on Zhen Qingchen to deal with the protector king today. Although Zhen Qingchuan's Yuan spirit body hadn't recovered much, with his identity as a talisman master and Du Xiaoqing's help, according to what Zhen Qingchen said to Du Xiaofu, the two of them could definitely deal with the protector king and Du Qingqing. Whoosh whoosh! A series of hand seals landed on the North Vanquishing monarch's body. Zhen Qingchuan's illusory face became serious. After a while, he withdrew his hand seals and looked at Du Xiaofu and Xie Fei. "I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?" "Let's talk about the bad news first," Du Xiaofu asked Zhen Qingchen. Hearing Zhen Qingchuan's tone, it seemed like the situation wasn't irreversible. The poison has been in his body for a long time. It has already seeped into his organs and bone marrow. Now the poison is attacking his heart. If he didn't cultivate an ice attribute cultivation method, he would have died long ago. Zhen Qingchen said to Du Xiaofu, "Senior, what's the good news?" Xie Fei asked nervously. Although Zhen Qingchen didn't look much different from Du Xiaofu right now, he was an expert with a Yuan spirit. He probably wasn't as simple as he looked, so he respectfully called him senior. Zhen Qingchuan's body was illusory, but his eyes were bright and clear. He glanced at Xie Fei and said, "The good news is that the poison is from the ice frost serpent. Is that good news?" Xie Fei couldn't help but smile bitterly as she looked at Zhen Qingchen in confusion. The poison from the ice frost serpent was terrifying, yet this Yuan spirit expert said it was good news. Of course, it's not good news for others. It's a nightmare. But with this kid here, it'll be much easier, Zhen Qingchen said indifferently. Then he looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "Have you forgotten about the poison from the fiery serpent in the thunderous lion?" "Are you saying?" Du Xiaofu's eyes brightened. Back in the Stone City, the thunderous lion was poisoned by the fiery serpent. Coincidentally, Du Xiaofu cultivated the cultivation method of the golden rock, so the blood in his body was similar to the blood of the golden rock. It was said that in ancient times the rocks fed on dragons. The rocks were the natural nemesis of dragons, so they were able to suppress and eliminate the poison from the fiery serpent. The ice frost serpent is also a serpent. It's one of the descendants of dragons. It's similar to the fiery serpent. Of course you can suppress and eliminate it, Zhen Qingchen said to Du Xiaofu, but now the poison is attacking your heart. The result is hard to predict. If you could suppress it earlier, it would be much easier. It's all my fault. Du Xiaofu was very upset. Because he was a medicine talisman master, he didn't dabble in anything other than alchemy. Therefore, he didn't pay much attention to the poison on the North Vanquishing King. If he could understand it earlier, maybe things wouldn't be like this now. Creak! Outside the courtyard in the bamboo forest, the door opened and closed. Xie Fei walked out slowly. Fei, how's the situation? A big man immediately went up to Xie Fei and asked nervously. Xiaofu is treating Grandpa, but the final result is not clear yet. There should be a 50% chance, Xie Fei said to the crowd. From the conversation between Du Xiaofu and Zhen Qingchen, she knew that there was only a 50% chance. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was already treating the wound, so she left the room. With Du Xiaofu's special order, Xie Fei naturally wouldn't leak the secret of Zhen Qingchuan's existence. It's good that there's a chance. Nothing must happen to Grandpa. The middle-aged man and many other Xie family members were relieved, but they still looked serious. Then, half of them stayed in the bamboo forest to protect the North Vanquishing King. At this moment, in the room, Du Xiaofu set up a seal. Looking at North Vanquishing Prince, whose aura was getting weaker and colder on the bed, he took a deep breath and a dagger appeared in his hand. Swish! As the dagger slid across Du Xiaofu's wrist, a stream of pale golden blood immediately condensed. Within the pale golden blood, there were mysterious runes fluctuating, as if they were about to condense into the illusory figure of a golden-winged roc and fly out. Boom! The moment Du Xiaofu dripped the pale golden blood into North Vanquishing King's mouth, North Vanquishing King's body, which was gradually turning cold, suddenly trembled. There was an extremely hidden icy aura that immediately trembled, as if it was under some kind of shocking suppression. Swish! After helping North Vanquishing King to sit cross-legged, Du Xiaofu also sat cross-legged behind North Vanquishing King. His hand seals changed, and then a pale, golden, profound energy gushed out from his body and rushed into North Vanquishing King's body. Walala! A moment later, a pale gray aura slowly overflowed from North Vanquishing King's body, turning into flickering black runes. Then it was destroyed by a tyrannical golden rune. Time slowly passed. Du Xiaofu was dispelling North Vanquishing King's poison in the bamboo forest, but the entire Stone Dragon Empire's imperial capital was in an uproar. The fall of a guardian king, the destruction of the Du household, and the death of an expert. This news was like a storm spreading to the entire Stone Dragon Empire. The legend of the Du household is about to come to an end. From now on, the Du household that stood tall in the imperial capital is going downhill. That's not necessarily true. The Du household still has the guardian king and the outstanding Du Chong. As long as they are here, the Du household will still exist. No matter how strong the Du household is, it can't be compared to the Courage God Mansion. If the Guardian King didn't protect the Du household today, I'm afraid the Du household would be completely razed to the ground by the Courage God Mansion. Night fell. In the Imperial Palace, the group of beasts on the Golden Dragon Palace flickered under the reflection of the moon and the stars, making the palace appear mysterious and quiet. Chapter 485. Inside the Golden Dragon Palace, First Princess Cheng Shengnan asked Emperor Cheng, "Father, something happened at the Du household and the Protector King passed away. Should we do something about it?" The Protector King had his reasons for what happened back then. On one hand, it was for the Du household, and on the other hand, it was for the entire empire. Those powerful enemies were strong enough to raze the empire to the ground with a wave of their hand. That's why I've been trying to strengthen the empire all these years, and that's why I want you to go to the Divine Light Court. Emperor Cheng sighed softly. He looked at First Princess Cheng Shengnan and said, "The Protector King saved Du Chong with his own life, and also left a favor for the Du family in the Stone City." He thought about the long term. Indeed, the older the ginger, the spicier it is. The Protector King's actions are also admirable. Spread the word that the entire empire will mourn and hold a state funeral. You will also represent me and go to the Du household to pay respects to the Protector King. I understand. Don't worry, father. First Princess Cheng Shengnan nodded. By the way, something seems to be wrong with the North Vanquishing King. The poison on his body may have worsened. You will also go and take a look for me. If the Xia household needs anything, except for that matter, do it at all costs. We just lost a Protector King. We can't lose the North Vanquishing King as well. Any Protector King is a pillar of the entire Stone Dragon Empire. Emperor Cheng said. Yes, I will arrange it. First Princess Cheng Shengnan nodded again. You've been back for a long time. When will you return to the Divine Light Court? Emperor Cheng looked at Cheng Shengnan again and asked. Cheng Shengnan's eyes flickered, and a purple-robed figure appeared in her mind. She then said, I will return to the Divine Light Court in a few days. It will also be good for me to inquire about the situation in the sect. TSK. 3 days later, in the courtyard of the bamboo forest, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, withdrew his hand seal, and the light golden halo of Xian Qi around him retracted into his body, revealing his pale face. The consumption of 3 days was too much for Du Xiaofu to bear. The consumption of Xian Qi to help North vanquishing ice dragons, cold poison in his body, was too shocking. Du Xiaofu was almost exhausted. However, the effect was better than he had imagined, which made Du Xiaofu feel a little relieved. Fortunately, most of the cold poison accumulated in North Vanquishing Prince's body had been removed. However, the cold poison had attacked North Vanquishing Prince's heart and had already corroded his internal organs and bone marrow. It was not easy to completely remove it. Zhan Qingquan's illusory figure floated into the room. He said to Du Xiaofu, it should be about time. You've done your best. The rest is up to him and the will of the heavens. Okay. Du Xiaofu nodded at Zhen Qingquan, looking at North Vanquishing Prince, who was currently wrapped in a layer of faint golden light. Du Xiaofu's sharp mental energy probed him. He felt that everything about North Vanquishing Prince seemed to be developing in a good direction, and he let out a sigh of relief. Whether or not North Vanquishing Ice Dragon could completely remove the cold poison in his body would depend on how much rock blood he could absorb to expel the cold poison. If everything went well, North Vanquishing Prince would be able to successfully detoxify the cold poison in his body. At that time, he would naturally be able to recover to his original state. North Vanquishing Prince will be fine. The brave God King will definitely have a way to remove the cold poison in his body. Outside the courtyard of the bamboo forest, a woman dressed in an orange-red outfit stood quietly. She had a pair of slender and tall legs, a slim waist that could not be grasped with one hand, and the curves in front of her chest outlined a graceful and exquisite arc. I hope so, a charming woman said softly. She was slightly older than the woman in the outfit. Her waist was slim and her skin was smooth. She didn't wear any makeup and her lips weren't red. However, her brows were tightly knitted at this moment. The two ladies were Princess Cheng Xingnan and Xia Fei. At this moment, there were many experts from Prince Xia's mansion outside the courtyard. They were guarding nervously and didn't dare to disturb the situation in the room. Creak! While everyone was nervous, the courtyard door creaked open. A young man carrying a purple broadsword on his back walked out slowly. His face was extremely pale. How's Grandpa? Xia Fei went up to Du Xiaofu and asked immediately. The surrounding people from Prince Xie's mansion were also filled with anticipation. There should be an 80% chance. The rest will depend on Grandpa Xie and Heaven's will. Don't let anyone disturb him, Du Xiaofu said to Xie Fei. 80% chance. Xie Fei's knitted brows relaxed a little. She looked at Du Xiaofu and said thank you. When the surrounding people from Prince Xie's mansion heard this, their nervous expressions relaxed a little. No need to thank me. Don't forget that I'm also half a Xie's. Grandpa Xie said that. Du Xiaofu looked at the charming woman in front of him and smiled faintly. Xie Fei smiled and didn't say anything else. No one knew what she was thinking. Suddenly, her cheeks blushed a little. I didn't expect you to have such ability. If North Vanquishing Prince recovers, you will have done a great deed for the empire. The eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan, stepped forward. Her tall and fiery figure made it hard for people to shift their gazes away from her. She passed an extraordinary medicinal pill to Du Xiaofu and said, "You seem to have consumed a lot of energy. Quickly consume this pill." "Thank you." Du Xiaofu took the pill and put it in his mouth. "What do you plan to do next?" Cheng Xingnan asked Du Xiaofu. "I want to go back to Stone City." Du Xiaofu was worried about his uncle's injury. If it wasn't for North Vanquishing Prince's cold poison, he would have already left for Stone City. "When are you leaving?" Xie Fei heard this and immediately asked. "I can't help Grandpa Xie with his cold poison anymore, so I plan to leave now," Du Xiaofu said to Xie Fei. Back to Stone City, the first princess Cheng Shengnan suddenly looked at Du Xiaofu. Her bright eyes slightly moved, revealing a trace of surprise. She waved her hand and her red lips gently opened. "I also want to go to Stone City." "You're going too?" Du Xiaofu and Xie Fei heard this and showed a puzzled expression. "That's right. Since I don't have much to do recently, I want to go to Stone City and see what the place where you grew up is like." Princess Cheng Xingnan smiled, like a beautiful rose blooming on her cheeks. She seemed to have made up her mind. She looked at Du Xiaofu with a hint of warning and said, "Brave king, you won't not take me, right? Stone City is only a small place. I'm just afraid that you won't be used to it." Du Xiaofu frowned and said. Cheng Shengnan lowered her slightly raised eyelashes, and her tall figure walked in front of Du Xiaofu. Suddenly, she leaned over to Du Xiaofu's ear. A delicate fragrance filled the air. Her red lips slightly opened as she whispered to Du Xiaofu, "If you don't take me there, I won't let you off for what happened in the hot spring. You can do as you deem fit." Du Xiaofu heard this and was stunned. He looked at the tall girl who was almost as tall as him and said, "You said that we'll forget about it and won't pursue it any more." "When did I say that? I don't remember." Cheng Xingnan sneered. Du Xiaofu stared at Cheng Xingnan for a moment. He took a deep breath and said helplessly, "Then go back and pack up. We'll leave later." Cheng Xingnan moved in front of Xie Fei and said, "Sister Fei, please send someone to the palace and tell them that I'm going to Stone City with the brave God King. Tell my father that he doesn't need to worry." Xie Fei's delicate face slightly froze. She stood there and said, "Okay, I'll arrange it." After saying that, Xie Fei looked at the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan, and the purple-robed young man in front of her. Her eyes flickered with light and disappeared as soon as she finished her sentence. Xie Fei's heart skipped a beat. "I think you must be thinking of leaving when I return to the palace. With the speed of that black demon tiger, I'm afraid I won't be able to catch up even if I want to, right?" Cheng Xingnan slightly raised her head and looked at Du Xiaofu with a faint smile on her face. She seemed very proud. Sometimes it's not good for a woman to be too smart. Du Xiaofu helplessly stared at First Princess Cheng Xingnan. That was exactly what he was thinking. He didn't expect Cheng Xingnan to directly expose him. After saying that, he nodded at Xie Fei and left the bamboo forest. Cheng Xingnan caught up to Du Xiaofu and followed him closely. She was afraid that Du Xiaofu would leave her behind, so she asked, Who said that it's not good for a woman to be smart? A servant in my family said that smart women are always worrisome. Du Xiaofu said, Don't worry, I'm only going to Stone City to take a look. I won't cause you any trouble. Cheng Xingnan said. In the Courage God mansion, after Du Xiaofu handed the mansion over to Phantom, he brought second uncle Du Zhixiong, big sister Du Xiaoman, Du Xiaoqing, and Du Xiaoyao to the little tiger's back to Stone City. Of course, first Princess Qing Xingnan was following closely behind. As for second brother Du Yunlong, he was receiving the inheritance from the old protector king, so it was naturally inconvenient for him to travel. Ouyang Shuang saw that first Princess Qing Xingnan wanted to go with them, but she didn't seem to want to go either. Thus, Du Xiaofu asked Ouyang Shuang to take care of second brother Du Yunlong. He was worried about first uncle's situation, so he quickly left. Ouyang Shuang's eyes moved slightly as she watched the purple-robed young man on little tiger's back and the eldest princess Qing Shengnan leave. She then looked at the white clouds in the sky and smiled bitterly. On the black tiger, when Du Zhixiong found out about first Princess Qing Shengnan's identity, he was also very surprised. He looked at Du Xiaofu and first princess with a strange expression in his eyes. Chapter 486. On the back of the little tiger, first Princess Qing Xingnan was extremely obedient in front of Du Zhixiong. Her relationship with Du Xiaoman and Du Xiaoqing was also quite good. She beat around the bush and found out many things about Du Xiaofu's childhood from Du Xiaoman and Du Zhixiong. When she heard that Du Xiaofu was still the foolish young master of the entire Stone City 2 years ago, the first princess was also very surprised. However, she still cast a sidelong glance at Du Xiaofu and teased him. When she heard that Du Xiaofu and his drunkard father had always depended on each other since young, ripples appeared in the first princess's eyes. She secretly looked at the purple-robed young man who was sitting cross-legged not far away, and the light in her eyes seemed to have changed. This first princess seems to like you. Du Xiaoyao sat beside Du Xiaofu and looked at Qing Xingnan, who was talking to Du Zhixiong. Then she cast a sidelong glance at Du Xiaofu and said, Take advantage of your free time to cultivate properly. Du Xiaofu glared at Du Xiaoyao, then turned to look at the first princess behind him. He formed a hand seal and began to regulate his breathing. Stone City, a small city at the border beside the savage Beast Mountain range. It was still as fierce and aggressive as ever. Among the various powers in Stone City, the Du family's position was getting higher and higher. The news of Vice City, Lord Du Xiaofu obtaining first place in the Tianwu Academy's Tianwu competition and being conferred the title of Marquis in the imperial capital had already spread through various channels, causing the entire Stone City to be in an uproar. Several days later, at the border of the savage Beast Mountain Range, Stone City, the sky was vast and boundless. Dusk. Everything was shrouded in the boundless mist of dusk, appearing transparent and quiet. Accompanied by the glow of the setting sun, red clouds covered the sky. Roar! Suddenly a tiger's roar resounded from the sky above the Stone City. That soul-shaking roar caused the residents of the Stone City to feel a sense of familiarity. In the sky, the clouds rippled, and a huge ink-black tiger flapped its wings in midair. Its aura was so terrifying that it made people tremble in fear for no reason. There were several figures standing on top of the giant tiger. The one in the lead was a purple-robed young man with a purple broadsword on his back. His face was resolute and determined, and his eyes were clear under his sharp eyebrows. That's the Vice City Lord. There's also the second master of the Du family and the eldest daughter of the Du family. It must be because the Du family was provoked by some experts some time ago, so the second master went to find the Vice City Lord. Looking at the purple-robed young man on the black tiger, the entire Stone City was in an uproar. Third young master is back. Second master and eldest miss are also back. Outside the Du family, the courtyard was still the same as before. when a huge black tiger flapped its wings and appeared outside the Du family. Many of the Du family's disciples were overjoyed. Many of the elders also came out after hearing the news. "Brother Xiaofu, you're back? Nice to meet you, Brother Xiaofu." The younger generation of the Du family, Du Shui, and the others all came forward to greet him. Du Chong, Du Hao, Du Gui, and the others also came forward enthusiastically. Of course, their gazes fell on Du Shaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, and the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan. They were also surprised by the eldest princess and Du Shaoqing. "Great elder, how is my eldest uncle now?" Great elder Du Xiaofu was also in the crowd at this time. Du Xiaofu immediately asked, as he was most worried about his eldest uncle's situation. "Yesterday, there was an expert who came, saying that he was entrusted by you to check on the family head's injuries. He has been in the room all this time, so we don't know the situation now." Great elder said to Du Xiaofu, "The king of medicine. It must be the king of medicine." Hearing this, Du Xiaofu heaved a sigh of relief. With the king of medicine's help, his eldest uncle's situation should be much more stable. With the return of Du Xiaofu, Du Jixiong, Du Xiaoman, and the others, the entire Du family was very lively. The identity of the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan, was also spread by Du Jixiong, which shocked everyone in the Du family even more. The Du family had never had such a noble with such a high status visit before. When the gossipy ladies of the Du family saw that the eldest princess seemed to have an extraordinary relationship with Du Xiaofu, and the news from Du Jixiong, they were all very happy. The news immediately spread in the Du family. Not long after, because of Du Xiaofu's return, the head of the Bai family, Bai Jiru, and the city lord, Yi Baolin, personally brought people to the Du family, regardless of the reason. With Du Xiaofu's identity as the Courage King, they still had to pay him a visit. With the arrival of these two people, Du Xiaofu had no choice but to go out and meet them. When Yi Baolin, Bai Jiru, and the others found out that the eldest princess was also in the Du family, they were even more shocked. After bowing one after another, they saw that the eldest princess seemed to have an extraordinary relationship with Du Xiaofu, and they could not help but speculate in that direction. After chatting for a while, Yi Baolin and Bai Jiru left. The twilight had already turned blurry, and the sky that was filled with the glow of the sunset gradually calmed down. Then stars hung in the dark blue night sky, and a crescent moon silently climbed into the sky. Du Xiaofu stood in front of a courtyard, and there were faint energy fluctuations spreading out from it. "You're back? Come in." Suddenly, a familiar voice came from outside the courtyard. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's eyes moved slightly, and he immediately went forward to push open the door and entered the room. Inside the room, at this moment, there was an old man in a gray robe whose long sleeves were trembling slightly. His face was slightly pale, and his eyes were slightly narrowed as he looked at Du Xiaofu. His voice was slightly old, and he said faintly, "You're living quite comfortably, being conferred the title of Marquis and having me work hard for you in Chaos Demon City. Just a word from you, and I still have to rush over without stopping. To be able to leave all the work to you, you can be considered unprecedented. Thank you for your hard work, Elder Yi." Du Xiaofu respectfully bowed to the Medicine King, and his heart was filled with gratitude. In this world, how many people could make the dignified Medicine King Yi Wuming rush over from Chaos Demon City without stopping? Du Xiaofu would remember this favor deeply in his heart. "Kid, don't be so polite. Your uncle's injuries are indeed very serious. Someone attacked and injured his internal organs and also affected his soul. Fortunately, during this period of time, a Beast King protected his qi. Otherwise, no one would be able to save him." The Medicine King Yi Wuming glanced at Du Xiaofu, then looked at the figure sitting cross-legged on the bed and said, "I have already healed your uncle's internal organs and also his soul. There are no major problems. He should be able to wake up in 3 or 4 days, but it will affect his cultivation in the future. It's good that he's fine. Thank you, Elder Yi." Du Xiaofu bowed again. The medicine king, Dr. Wuming, was indeed worthy of his reputation. Looking at the big man who was sitting cross-legged on the bed, surrounded by a strange layer of faint fluorescent light, Du Xiaofu relaxed completely. I need to rest for a while. Tomorrow, I will talk to you about Chaos Demon City. The medicine king stretched and said to Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu nodded and personally brought the medicine king to find a quiet courtyard for him to rest. Only then did he go back. Under the moonlight, the courtyard that he had not seen for a long time still looked the same. There were no changes. Du Xiaofu stepped into the courtyard. A rattan chair was placed there quietly, and it seemed a little quiet and empty. Looking at the quiet rattan chair, Du Xiaofu seemed to see a drunken man sleeping soundly, hugging a gourd of wine in his arms, unwilling to let go. "Father, where are you now?" After a while, Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. Since he was young, the scene that he had seen the most in this courtyard was his father often hugging a wine gourd and looking at the sky. The smell of wine filled the air, and then he fell asleep drunk. And now he still didn't know where his father had gone, and where was he? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu frowned, and his figure suddenly disappeared. When Du Xiaofu's figure appeared again, he was already in his room. At this time he saw that in his room there was an exquisite and curvaceous woman looking around. It was the eldest princess, Cheng Shengnan. "You're back." Turning around and seeing Du Xiaofu, the eldest princess smiled and immediately went up to Du Xiaofu and said, "The people in your family are very enthusiastic. Today, they told me a lot of things about your past. Is this your room? Why are you here? Where are little Qing and the others?" Du Xiaofu asked in astonishment. He didn't expect that the eldest princess would be in his room at this time of the night. "It was your aunts who asked me to come. They said that I can stay here temporarily. Little Qing and sister Xiaoman are together. Little demon Du, that little tiger, I don't know where he ran off to." The eldest princess said to Du Xiaofu. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu looked at the woman in front of him and couldn't help but smile bitterly. It seemed that his aunts were worried about him again. The eldest princess looked at Du Xiaofu and frowned slightly. Her red lips parted slightly and said, "You seem to be very afraid of me. Am I really that scary?" "Am I?" Du Xiaofu curled his lips and said, "You think too much." "Are you afraid that I'll eat you?" Suddenly, the first princess looked at Du Xiaofu and smiled. Her exquisite and slender body purposely straightened, forming an alluring curve. Under the dim and hazy light, it was even more captivating. Her pearly white teeth parted slightly as she laughed tenderly. "You can't really be afraid that I'll eat you, right?" Du Xiaofu was stunned for a moment. After that, he turned around and left. His voice rang out, "You can sleep in my room. Rest early. I'll sleep in my father's room." Looking at Du Xiaofu's departing figure, the eldest princess's bright eyes were half closed. She gently stroked her jade-like face and then looked at the open window in the room. The moonlight shrouded the room and it was quiet outside. She raised her head slightly and a smile appeared on her lips. She pursed her lips and said softly, "This fellow looks fierce and domineering. I didn't expect that there would be so many stories behind him." Chapter 487. In the drunkard's father's room, everything was still the same as before. Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged on the bed, but his mind was thinking about many things. The matter of the Du household and the death of the old protector king had moved Du Xiaofu even more. Du Xiaofu had an indescribable feeling towards the death of the old protector king. That feeling made his heart faintly ache. From what he had learned, how could Du Xiaofu not know that even if the Du household had gone all out, they still wouldn't have been able to fend off those terrifying people? The anger he felt towards the Du household was only because some people in the Du household had bullied and humiliated the Du family. Du Xiaofu was clear in his heart that in the end, those terrifying people were the main culprits who had torn his family apart. His spirit root had been sealed at birth, and the person who had done it was extremely strong. so strong that even if his big brother Jin Qingchun had been at his peak, it would have been very difficult for him to undo the seal. This made Du Xiaofu think of those terrifying people. No matter who you are, one day I will find you. Du Xiaofu gritted his teeth and murmured softly. His clear eyes surged with a hint of sharpness. A moment later, his body was enveloped in a white glow, spreading like a white divine light and emitting an ancient aura. The night passed, and the next morning, the red sun shone down rays of golden light from the eastern horizon, driving away the darkness. Phew! Du Xiaofu exhaled a mouthful of turbid air from his mouth. His eyes opened, flashing with a bright light. Immediately after, they converged into a clear and bright light. A moment later, in a small hall in a quiet courtyard, Du Xiaofu and the Medicine King Yi Wuming sat upright. How was it in the Stone Dragon Empire's imperial capital? I heard you were conferred the title of Marquis. You were very impressive, the Medicine King said with a smile as he looked at Du Xiaofu. After a night of recuperation, he had probably taken some medicinal pills. His slightly pale complexion had already recovered its rosy color. Old Yi, don't make fun of me. Du Xiaofu laughed bitterly, and a helpless smile appeared on his face as he said, How's the situation in Chaos Demon City? Right now, the situation in Chaos Demon City is rather troublesome. Even the entire Dark Forest is extremely complicated right now. Medicine King Yi Wuming sighed softly. From Medicine King Yi Wuming, Du Xiaofu learned that the World Society, which had Medicine King Yi Wuming, Eagle King Gongdao, and Yi Piaoling Hua Fankong, and the others in Chaos Demon City, had long since taken control of the various large, medium, and small factions in Chaos Demon City. The World Society had risen in Chaos Demon City in such a short time. Although it couldn't be said to have a strong foundation, it had a 6-star Spirit Talisman Master and Eagle King Gongdao. On the surface, it was enough to contend with the one pavilion and one fort. This naturally attracted the attention and wariness of the two sections. Chaos Demon City was also rather special. Not only were there humans in Chaos Demon City, but there were also many powerful monster experts. The one pavilion, one fort, and two sects didn't dare to rashly go against them. The rise of the World Society in Chaos Demon City was naturally not something that the monster forces were happy to see. This was definitely a huge threat to the monster forces. Therefore, the World Society had encountered extremely troublesome matters in Chaos Demon City. They had conflicts with many powerful monster beasts, and there had even been several skirmishes, causing the World Society to suffer many casualties. In Chaos Demon City, there are actually very few humans. More than half of them are monster beasts. Those that can live in Chaos Demon City are extremely powerful monster beasts. Among them, there are 3 monster beasts at the Beast King realm, the Medicine King said to Du Xiaofu with a serious expression. 3 monster beasts at the Beast King realm. When Du Xiaofu heard this, he couldn't help but gasp. 3 monster beasts at the Beast King realm were equivalent to 3 Martial King experts. Moreover, in comparison to the demon beasts and humans, the demon beasts were generally more tyrannical than the demon beasts. Therefore, there was no doubt that there were 3 extraordinary Martial King experts. No wonder the one pavilion, one fort, and 2 sects didn't dare to touch Chaos Demon City all these years. The Medicine King continued to say to Du Xiaofu, the 3 monster beasts at the Beast King realm are not simple. They are all ranked on the Earth Beast list. One of them is a tiger-subduing mastiff at the Beast King realm, and the other is a blue flame red panther at the Beast King realm. Blue flame red panther, tiger-subduing mastiff. Du Xiaofu was shocked again. The blue flame red panther and tiger-subduing mastiff were not simple. They were ranked at the top of the Earth Beast list and were at the Beast King realm. One could imagine their strength. What are you surprised about? The most terrifying one is not the blue flame red panther and tiger-subduing mastiff. The King of Medicine looked at Du Xiaofu. His gaze was solemn as he said, "The most terrifying one is a silver-winged demonic condor. A silver-winged demonic condor that recently broke through from the Beast King realm to the Beast King realm's Nirvana realm. The silver-winged demonic condor is ranked in the top 10 of the Earth Beast list. It is rumored that the silver-winged demonic condor is very lecherous." "Is it the silver-winged demonic condor?" Du Xiaofu was deeply shocked. It was rumored that the silver-winged demonic condor was ranked in the top 10 of the Earth Beast list. It was the monster closest to the Heavenly Beast list. Any of the top 10 demonic beasts on the Earth Beast list was extremely powerful. All of them were kings among the demonic beasts. The silver-winged demonic condor had reached the Nirvana realm of the Martial Lord realm. It was easy to imagine how terrifying its strength was. There is only one silver-winged demonic condor in this world. The Medicine King looked at Du Xiaofu with a grave expression. He said, "In the Chaos Demon City, the one pavilion, one castle, and 2 sects have never dared to interfere. Apart from being afraid of the demonic beasts in the city, they are actually most afraid of the 3 terrifying Beast King realm demonic beasts. The World Society was fine in the Chaos Demon City a while ago. They weren't disturbed too much by the demonic beasts. It's probably because the silver-winged demonic condor was breaking through. But recently, the silver-winged demonic condor has broken through. All the beasts have become unstable. If they were not afraid of the one pavilion, one castle, and 2 sects joining forces to attack the World Society, they would have attacked us long ago. In that case, the World Society does not seem to be safe now." Hearing the Medicine King's words, Du Xiaofu also became serious. The 3 Beast King realm monsters were eyeing the Chaos Demon City covetously. Their foundation was not stable. The World Society, which had no foundation, would not be able to fight against the 3 Beast King realm experts by relying on the Medicine King and Eagle King Gongdao. Moreover, there should be many other monsters around. Naturally, it's not very safe. I came out this time in secret. If those demonic beasts knew that I left the World Society and that only Eagle King Gongdao was guarding the Chaos Demon City, I'm afraid they would immediately surround and attack." The Medicine King, Yi Wuming, was worried. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said seriously, "Your uncle should be fine, so I want to go back as soon as possible. When your uncle wakes up, I think you will have to make a trip to the Chaos Demon City. After all, you are the president of the World Society. If you don't deal with the 3 Beast King realm monsters, I'm afraid the World Society will not be able to establish itself in the Chaos Demon City for much longer. After half a year of hard work, we have just gained a foothold in the Chaos Demon City. If something happens, half a year of hard work will go to waste." After pausing for a moment, the Medicine King continued to say to Du Xiaofu, "Moreover, the one pavilion, one castle, and 2 sects are eyeing us covetously. I'm afraid that as soon as the monsters start fighting with us, the one pavilion, one castle, and one castle will take advantage of the situation and fish in troubled waters. I understand. After Uncle is fine, I will immediately head to the Chaos Demon City." Du Xiaofu nodded. He understood the situation that the Medicine King, Yi Wuming, was talking about. The Dark Forest was already chaotic, and with the threat of the 3 Beast King realm monsters in the Chaos Demon City, the World Society was struggling to survive. If they were not careful, half a year of hard work would go to waste. With the one pavilion and one castle eyeing them covetously, they had no choice but to be careful. After the 2 chatted for a while, they began to talk about refining tools again. The Medicine King had also heard that Du Xiaofu had attracted a lightning tribulation and refined a high-grade Dao tool. He wanted to take a look. It's completely natural. What a good sword. When he saw Du Xiaofu take out the tyrannical shadow, the Medicine King couldn't help but exclaim in shock. Du Xiaofu also explained the situation of refining the tyrannical shadow to the Medicine King. Being able to refine the tyrannical shadow was all thanks to Vice President Zhuge Qiangbang. In fact, he only played a part in it at the end. It was also a coincidence and luck. Vice President Zhuge Qiangbang, the Medicine King held the tyrannical shadow and murmured softly. There was an imperceptible fluctuation in his eyes. Then the two talked a lot about refining puppets. From the smile on the Medicine King's face, it wasn't difficult for Du Xiaofu to know that the Medicine King had benefited a lot from the part of the secret soldier formula that he had given to the Medicine King. Then Du Xiaofu secretly hesitated in his heart and gave the Medicine King a part of the sacred body formula. He also gave the Medicine King some of the hidden parts of the secret soldier formula. After the Medicine King saw the sacred body formula, he was even more shocked. Of course, the most important parts of the secret soldier formula and the sacred body formula were kept by Du Xiaofu. It wasn't that Du Xiaofu didn't trust the Medicine King, but the secret soldier formula and the sacred body formula were his master's painstaking efforts. Passing a part of the secret soldier formula and the sacred body formula to the Medicine King and Vice President Zhuge Qiangbang was already the limit. Du Xiaofu naturally didn't dare to pass out all of it unless his master, the sacred body formula, agreed. Unknowingly, the two of them chatted for an entire day. They chatted from dawn until dusk. It wasn't until Big Sister Du Xiaoman came to find them that they knew it was already dusk. The Medicine King, Yi Wuming, also looked at the sky and decided to return to Chaos Demon City first. He was worried about the situation in Chaos Demon City. Because he was worried about the World Assembly, Du Xiaofu didn't ask him to stay. After all, when his uncle was fine, he had to hurry to Chaos Demon City as soon as possible. Today's update is complete. Chapter 488. Outside the Du residence, Du Xiaofu sent the Medicine King, Yi Wuming, to the gates of the Du residence. Watching the Medicine King leave, his eyes narrowed as he muttered, "Looks like I have to make a trip to the chaotic demon city as soon as possible. 3 Beast Kings, what a headache." Many representatives from the Stone City came to visit today, but they were all rejected by the elders, Du Xiaoman said to Du Xiaofu. She knew that her third brother did not like unnecessary social interactions. Du Xiaofu smiled, then asked Du Xiaoman, "Big sister, where are little Qing, little Yao, and the first princess?" Du Shui brought little Qing and Du Xiaoyao to the back of the mountain to play. "I don't know where the first princess went. Maybe she went out with little Qing and the others," Du Xiaoman replied to Du Xiaofu. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's eyes moved. He said to Du Xiaoman, "Big sister, I'll make a trip to the Yi residence." Okay. Du Xiaoman did not say anything else. Stone City, Yi residence. Everything was still the same as before. There were not many changes. When night fell, Du Xiaofu's figure appeared outside the Yi residence. When the members of the Yi residence saw Du Xiaofu, they immediately became excited. Soon after, the entire Yi residence became lively. Not long after Du Xiaofu entered the Yi residence, Yi Baolin and a few other experts of the Yi family hurried over. They did not stand on ceremony and were extremely casual. Du Xiaofu's gaze swept across the few Yi clan experts beside Yi Baolin. His eyes moved slightly, but he did not see the elegant and cool young lady. Yi Baolin smiled at Du Xiaofu, after which he sighed softly and said, "After leaving the Stone City, you have made great achievements in the Tianwu Academy and the capital. Zijin has also gone out to explore the world. I wonder how she is doing now." "Miss Yi has left Stone City?" Du Xiaofu shrugged. He didn't expect that Yi Zijin had also left Stone City. Zijin, that girl, has always wanted to go out and broaden her horizons. I can't outtalk her. Not long after you left Stone City, she also left. Although I'm worried, I don't know where she is now." Yi Baolin's eyes were filled with worry. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "If you are able to meet Zijin outside in the future, please take care of her. Ask her to make a trip home so that I can be at ease." "If I am able to meet her, I will do my best." Du Xiaofu nodded, after which Du Xiaofu explained his intentions. Firstly, it was to pay a visit to the Yi family. Secondly, It was to pay a visit to Senior Lightning Lion. After a while, Yi Baolin personally led Du Xiaofu to a familiar place. A simple and unadorned building appeared in front of Du Xiaofu's eyes. It looked like a pagoda, but it wasn't a pagoda. It gave off an ancient aura, as though it had existed for many years. In the simple stone room, Du Xiaofu saw a burly old man who looked to be in his 60s. He had a head full of purple hair and a face full of beard. His aura was imposing and ferocious. A formless wave of energy could make one's heart tremble. Greetings to Senior Lion King. Congratulations on breaking through to the Beast King realm. Du Xiaofu smiled and bowed. Looking at the burly old man in front of him, it wasn't hard to feel that this was the Lightning Lion King who had broken through to the Beast King realm. His violent and ferocious aura also revealed a familiar domineering aura. Breaking through to the Beast King realm is all thanks to you. The Lion King smiled. His voice was loud and clear, shaking the soul. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "How is your uncle? That 6-star talisman master is very strong. He should have a solution, right? Many thanks to Senior Lion King for your protection. Uncle should be fine." Du Xiaofu bowed. The main purpose of his visit to the Yi family was to thank the Lightning Lion King for protecting the Du family. "You are welcome." The Lightning Lion King smiled and said, "Those people were also from your Du family. It wasn't my place to interfere. That's why I arrived a little late. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened." "It's all settled." Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. After chatting with the Lion King for a while, Du Xiaofu found out that the Lightning Lion King wanted to go out and explore. He planned to leave the Stone City and pursue a higher breakthrough. The two chatted for almost an hour before Du Xiaofu left the Yi family. At this time, the moon was already high in the sky, and the stars were twinkling. "You didn't see the eldest princess?" After returning to the Du family, Du Xiaofu went back to the courtyard but didn't see the eldest princess. He hesitated for a moment and looked around the Du family. The eldest princess followed him to the Stone City. If something happened, it would be troublesome. Du Xiaofu had no choice but to ask Du Xiaoqing, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Tiger. "I don't know. Sister Sheng Nan isn't with us." Du Xiaoqing shook her head. She didn't see the eldest princess today. Du Xiaoyao seemed to have thought of something. She raised her head and her pale, golden eyes fluctuated. She said to Du Xiaofu, "I remember now." She said she wanted to go to the Savage Beast mountain range. She said she wanted to go to a familiar place. Savage Beast mountain range. Du Xiaofu frowned slightly. The night was like sand floating in a muddy river. When it was still, it gradually settled down. The bright moon hung high in the sky. Birds flew back to the forest. The foothills were dark and the forest was faint. In the quiet forest, mottled moonlight shone through the dense forest. On a rock, a woman dressed in an orange-red outfit stood quietly. Her figure was slender and exquisite, and her eyes were deep and bright in the dark night. The woman stood there quietly for an unknown amount of time. She muttered to herself, "Will he come? Will he be able to find me?" Time passed slowly. The moon set in the west. The sky was dusty. Dawn was coming. The sky gradually became darker and darker. Even the moonlight couldn't dilute the darkness. TSK, a figure landed on a rock in the forest. He was wearing a purple robe and carrying a broadsword on his back. His eyes were deep in the night and flickered with a faint golden light. It was Du Xiaofu. Swish! Suddenly the space fluctuated. A figure turned into an orange afterimage in the night. Like lightning, it instantly pounced on Du Xiaofu. His pale golden eyes fluctuated. The energy around Du Xiaofu fluctuated. In an instant, a palm print accompanied by a faint golden splendor was launched. Bang! A muffled sound echoed. Du Xiaofu's figure didn't move at all. He was as steady as a rock. TSK, TSK, tisk! That orange figure swayed slightly. In an instant, it formed a graceful arc. The palm print was changing. A dazzling runic energy immediately enveloped Du Xiaofu. Extinguish! Du Xiaofu let out a soft shout. Faint golden light runes surged in the center of his palm, and an overbearing and ferocious aura suddenly appeared. He stretched out his right arm, like a rock spreading its wings, and directly slapped towards the dazzling light. Whoosh! Golden rays of light swept out and shattered the rune energy in midair. At the same time, Du Xiaofu opened his mouth and said softly, "First princess, that's enough. Do you still want to attack?" "Humph, you're not allowed to move." A delicate shout echoed. A beautiful figure appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Her deep eyes were filled with ripples. Her slender body took the opportunity to appear in front of Du Xiaofu. She waved her delicate hand. Waves of fluctuation spread out. A palm print landed on Du Xiaofu's chest. Bang! After a muffled sound, Du Xiaofu's figure immediately trembled. His body swayed slightly. A terrifying energy swept out, causing the surrounding space to tremble. "You idiot, why didn't you dodge?" The first princess, Cheng Xingnan's beautiful face appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Her eyes rippled as she pouted. "Are you all right? Are you injured?" "I'm fine. You told me not to move," Du Xiaofu said. He looked at the woman before him and asked, "Why have you come here?" Seeing that Du Xiaofu was fine, the first princess let out a sigh of relief. She stood quietly beside Du Xiaofu. She looked at Du Xiaofu, then glared fiercely at Du Xiaofu. She said, "Do you still remember where this is?" Du Xiaofu looked around. In the darkness, he frowned slightly. Du Xiaofu naturally remembered this place. Back then, he had fought with Cheng Xingnan not far from here. In the end, he had even applied medicine to heal Cheng Xingnan. He said, "I remember. I saved you here." "Humph. But you also took the opportunity to plot against me." The first princess glared at Du Xiaofu. Her eyes were filled with anger. Perhaps she would attack at any time. "I didn't," Du Xiaofu firmly denied. However, this denial was somewhat lacking in confidence. Cheng Xingnan glared at Du Xiaofu. She snorted and said, "I don't care. You have. What do you want?" Du Xiaofu looked helplessly at the woman before him and curled his lips. "That's more like it. This is the attitude you should have." Cheng Xingnan looked at Du Xiaofu and suddenly smiled. Her red lips slightly parted as she said, "Do you still remember that you said you wanted to snatch me back to be your maid?" Du Xiaofu bitterly smiled and said, "I think I did say that. Back then, you were the one who wanted to snatch my blood infant, Ganoderma." Cheng Xingnan lifted her head and looked at Du Xiaofu. She said with a smile that was not a smile, "It's good that you remember. I have decided. You have to be responsible for me." "Responsible for what?" Du Xiaofu furrowed his brows. "I have been taken advantage of by you. What do you want to be responsible for?" Cheng Xingnan glared at Du Xiaofu. Her graceful body was almost pressed tightly against Du Xiaofu when she was alive. She asked, "Am I very ugly?" Du Xiaofu took half a step back and looked seriously at the first princess. He shook his head and said, "You are not ugly. In fact, you are very beautiful." Chapter 489. Cheng Shengnan continued to ask Du Xiaofu, "Then how about I compete with Miss Li Shui from the Li family, Miss Gu Xinyan from the Gu family, Miss Xia Fei from the Xia family, and Miss Ouyang Shuang from the Ouyang family?" Du Xiaofu frowned and looked at Cheng Xingnan in confusion. For a moment, he did not know how to answer. "All right, I won't ask you this question. Look at your troubled face." Cheng Xingnan pursed her lips and smiled. Her tall and graceful figure stood in front of Du Xiaofu like a proud snow lotus. As her words fell, she raised her head slightly and took a deep breath, as if she had made an important decision in her heart. She lifted her delicate face and suddenly closed her eyes slightly. Her tender red lips were slightly pouted in front of Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu looked at the girl in front of him. Although it was dark, he could still clearly see the fine hair on her delicate face. A faint fragrance wafted from her body, especially her slightly pouted red lips, which were as red as cherries. Suddenly, for some unknown reason, Du Xiaofu bent down and leaned in. His breathing was a little hurried. Two thin lips immediately landed on the pouted red lips. This was a completely natural instinct. There was no need for guidance or comprehension. When those tender red lips entered his mouth, it was clear and cool. At this moment, the slightly closed eyelashes on the alluring face trembled slightly, as if she had suddenly become flustered. She immediately shut her eyes tightly when she felt the slight heat emitting from those two thin lips. At this moment, the surrounding night seemed to have frozen over, following which, the two people's lips slowly and completely pressed together. Du Xiaofu also closed his eyes. There was a fire burning in his heart. The tip of his tongue pried open those slightly open teeth, feeling the fresh and moist tip of the tongue swimming in those slightly open lips. He could not help but lower his lips and gently wrap them around the moist and tender tip of the tongue. Du Xiaofu's hands also very naturally held the girl in his arms tightly. He was somewhat at a loss as his tongue moved along the curve of her body, on her back, her small waist that could not be held in one hand, all the way to that firm place. Eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan's eyes were tightly closed. Her entire body was trembling. She was a little flustered, but also intoxicated. Both of their breathing became more and more rapid. In the end, eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan broke free from Du Xiaofu's lips. Her delicate hand directly Chu Xingnan's mouth was stopped Du Xiaofu's mouth. Her delicate hands directly blocked Du Xiaofu's thin. Her cheeks were red, and her eyes rippled. Her eyes, she said, "Sweet, you don't do's me's." Du Xiaofu was a little stunned. Then he looked at the girl in front of him. His first kiss was actually gone just like that. However, recalling the feeling just now, it seemed to be a long and sweet aftertaste. It was extremely good. Okay, let's go back. Otherwise, your second uncle and big sister will be worried. Cheng Xingnan gently held Du Xiaofu's arm. Her delicate face was full of a red blush. She looked a little shy and charming. Looking at her, Du Xiaofu's heart also palpitated. At this time, dawn had passed. The first rays of the morning sun lifted the faint but boundless curtain of night. Through the thin layer of clouds, dawn began to spread between the hazy heaven and earth, illuminating the vast forest and mountain range. When Du Xiaofu and the eldest princess returned to Stone City, with their current speed, it was already noon. The streets were bustling with people, and it was extraordinarily lively. All kinds of voices converged into a clamor that reverberated through the air. "Is this the place where you grew up?" On the street, the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan, held Du Xiaofu's arm. She intimately leaned on Du Xiaofu's shoulder and looked around. "Quickly look, it's the Vice City Lord." "Greetings, Vice City Lord." On the street, some people noticed Du Xiaofu. Suddenly there was a commotion. Everyone bowed and greeted him. "Everyone, please don't be so polite." Du Xiaofu and the residents of Stone City nodded and signaled them to be excused. There was a smile on his face. This was the place where he grew up. Inside Stone City, his body and mind could naturally feel a special kind of closeness. "Vice City Lord, this is personally made by my mother. Give it to Vice City Lord and this sister." In the street, there was a little girl who looked like she was 8 or 9 years old. She was holding 2 sticks of candies in her hands. She handed them to Du Xiaofu and the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan. On her young face, her eyes were bright and full of innocence. "Thank you." Du Xiaofu did not refuse. It was not good to refuse. 2 sticks of candies were not expensive. "Thank you, little sister." The eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan, bent down and smiled as she took the stick of candies from the little girl. Then she smiled at Du Xiaofu and said, "It seems like you, the Vice City Lord, are quite popular." Vice City Lord is the hero of our Stone City. Without him, there would be no Stone City today. Everyone in Stone City respects Vice City Lord, very much. The little girl smiled and looked at Chang Shengnan. She blinked her innocent eyes and asked, Sister, you are so beautiful. May I ask if you are the Vice City Lord's wife? This, Chang Shengnan blushed. She slightly glanced at Du Xiaofu. Seeing Du Xiaofu's helpless expression, she slightly glared at Du Xiaofu. Then, with a smile, she said to the little girl, You have to ask your Vice City Lord to know, because even I don't know. The little girl curiously turned her head and asked Du Xiaofu, Vice City Lord, is sister right? This, a smile appeared on Du Xiaofu's face. He patted the back of the little girl's head and said softly, I will seriously consider this problem. Ah, before Du Xiaofu could finish a sentence, he felt a sharp pain in his arm. Looking to the side, he saw that the first princess's charming face, which had been flushed with shyness just now, was now filled with anger. It seems that she is the Vice City Lord's wife. They are really a talented man and a beautiful woman, a match made in heaven. The Vice City Lord's wife is so beautiful. In the surrounding streets, the residents of Stone City smiled and discussed. In this world, it was common for boys to get married and have children at the age of 15 or 16. The Vice City Lord was already 17 or 18 years old. Naturally, this was not a problem. When Du Xiaofu and the eldest princess returned to the Du family, it was already dusk. The amber sunset gradually receded from the horizon. Everyone in the Du family was anxious and was looking for the two of them everywhere. When many of the gossipy women in the Du family saw that Du Xiaofu and the eldest princess were still holding hands, they secretly smiled. Then, the news immediately spread like a bomb in the dark. At this time, Du Xiaofu, second uncle, big sister Du Xiaoman, and many Du family elders were discussing whether to put the sarcophagus back in the ancestral hall. After all, that was the place where the sarcophagus belonged. The sarcophagus had always been in the ancestral hall and had never been moved. The return of the ancestral sarcophagus to the ancestral hall was naturally a big matter for everyone in the Du family. Some elders suggested that the entire family must have a grand ceremony to show respect to the ancestors of the Du family. In the end, the elders of the Du family discussed and decided that the sooner the sarcophagus was put back in the ancestral hall, the better. It was set to be tomorrow. The head of the family had not woken up yet. The ceremony tomorrow would be led by Du Zhixiong, and all of the Du family disciples had to participate. The next morning, the Du family was very lively. All of the Du family disciples gathered at the ancestral hall in the back mountain. Du Xiaofu was now one of the most important figures in the Du family. Naturally, he could not be absent from such a ceremony. He had to stand in an important position. These complicated ceremonies gave Du Xiaofu a headache, but he had no choice. He had to participate. After paying respects to the ancestors and bringing out the ancestral sarcophagus, more than half a day had passed. Many elders of the Du family cried tears of joy when they saw the sarcophagus return to the ancestral hall. In the afternoon, a piece of good news came. The head of the Du family had finally woken up. When the news spread, the entire family was overjoyed. Many of them heaved a sigh of relief. In the room, Du Xiaofu and Du Zhixiong stood quietly by the bed. Du Xiaoman helped their father, Du Jinwu, up. Although Du Jinwu's complexion was pale and his aura was weak, he had already woken up. His aura was stable, and he should be able to recover after some time. Uncle, I'm back. Looking at his uncle lying on the bed, a smile appeared on Du Xiaofu's face. The last stone in his heart had been lifted to the ground. I already know about your achievements in the imperial capital. Tianwu Academy's first place in the Tianwu Martial Assembly, and you were conferred the title of Marquis. Your name has shaken the entire Stone Dragon Empire. Good lad, as expected of our Du family's second son. Good job. Looking at the purple-robed youth in front of him, Du Jinwu's eyes were filled with excitement. His aura was surging, and he couldn't help coughing. However, there was a smile on his face. Uncle, you should rest first. Du Xiaofu stepped forward and said, Don't worry, I'm fine now. Du Jinwu looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "An elder has already told me about the sarcophagus in the ancestral hall. Fortunately, the Du family has you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to explain myself to the Du family's ancestors in the future. As a descendant of the Du family, this is what I should do. No one can take away what belongs to the Du family." Du Xiaofu's eyes were firm, and there was a smile on his face. Looking at Du Xiaofu, Du Jinwu's eyes flickered, and he said, "I've also heard about the Du family's matter. No matter what, our Stone City's Du family and the Du family's Du family are of the same origin. Let's end it here." "I understand. Uncle, you can rest at ease and recuperate. Leave the matters outside to us." Du Xiaofu nodded. "With you here, of course I can rest assured." Du Jinwu smiled. Uncle Du Jinwu had just woken up, and it wasn't appropriate to disturb him. Soon after, Du Xiaofu took out many medicinal pellets, martial skills, and other cultivation resources from his spatial pouch and handed them to his two uncles. He planned to head to the chaotic demon city. Chapter 490. "You've just returned and you're leaving already?" Hearing this, Du Jixiong looked surprised, his gaze reluctant as he tried to persuade Du Xiaofu to stay. "You brat, you've just returned home. Why don't you stay for a few more days? The juniors in the family have been telling the elders that they hope you can take some time to guide them, but they don't dare to tell you. Why don't you stay for a few more days and guide them as well?" Du Xiaofu was worried about the Tianxia society in chaotic Demon City and could not let go. As for guiding the juniors, he was still considered the youngest among his peers, and most of them were older than him. Moreover, he really did not know how to guide them. "Xiaofu, eldest uncle knows that you are no longer the same as before and have your own matters to attend to. How about this? Stay for one more day and take some time to guide your brothers and sisters. See if there are any good seedlings so that they can be nurtured as early as possible so that you won't tire yourself out supporting the Du family alone in the future. Also, let those juniors be happy and boost the morale of our Du family," Du Jinwu said. He said to Du Xiaofu, "All right." Since eldest uncle had already spoken, and he would only stay for one more day, Du Xiaofu could only nod, unable to refuse. Night after night, the news that Du Xiaofu was going to guide the Du family juniors spread. The entire Du family juniors were in an uproar, all of them rubbing their fists and palms, eager to try, hoping to be able to receive guidance tomorrow. The next morning, all the Du family juniors had already gathered at the Du family drill ground. Even the elders, protectors, and elders of the Du family had gathered there out of curiosity. Du Hao, Du Gui, Du Chong, Du Yu, Du Shui, and the other elites of the younger generation were naturally at the forefront. It's said that Big Brother Xiaofu can already defeat the legendary martial king experts. If we can receive guidance this time, we will definitely improve greatly. Big Brother Xiaofu is our Du family's genius, our Du family's pride. I hope I can receive Big Brother Xiaofu's guidance today." The young men and women were discussing excitedly in low voices. Their hearts were filled with excitement and anticipation. A moment later, Du Xiaofu, First Princess, Cheng Xingnan, Du Xiaoyao, Little Tiger, Du Xiaoqing, and Du Xiaoman all came together. The younger generation on the drill ground was in an uproar. This made Du Xiaofu feel rather helpless. However, guiding the younger generation of the Du family and increasing the strength of the Du family was something that Du Xiaofu took very seriously. Following which, Du Xiaofu selected Du Hao, Du Yu, Du Shui, Du Gui, and the other youths with the most potential, and gave them some guidance in terms of martial skills and comprehension. Du Xiaofu let everyone use their strongest martial skill once, and then Du Xiaofu used a mysterious technique to slightly comprehend and modify it. Immediately, the power of those martial skills increased by a large margin. This caused the Du family disciples to be deeply shocked. The Du family elders and elders were also extremely shocked. In the hands of Du Xiaofu, a set of martial skills could be increased by a large margin in the blink of an eye. How shocking was this, especially for the wave motion fist and stormy wave palm. Du Xiaofu did not hold back as he imparted the perfected stormy wave palm and wave motion fist to the Du family disciples. One by one, the Du family disciples diligently comprehended. At this moment, the elders of the Du family completely disregarded their dignity and status, and all of them were fully focused on observing with the younger generation. Du Xiaofu did not think that he could be a teacher, but he did not know that his explanation and guidance would be of great use to the Du family disciples. There were also some elders who could not help but come forward to ask some questions about cultivation, afraid that they would miss this rare opportunity. For these elders, Du Xiaofu explained one by one. In the end, he even took out a lot of elixirs and gave them to the elders of the Du family, hoping that these elders would be able to make some breakthroughs in their lifetime. Not to mention how much these elders could improve their cultivation. Extending their lifespan was also a good thing. Every time their cultivation increased, the vitality in their body would erupt and their lifespan would increase. On the drill ground, it was extraordinarily lively. A large group of Du family disciples tightly surrounded Du Xiaofu. This guy, he actually became a teacher. On the drill ground, eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan looked at the purple-robed youth who was surrounded by the crowd. Her beautiful face was like a flower, and her butterfly-like eyebrows were smiling. Her eyes rippled, and it was incomparably moving. Big brother has always been the best. Du Xiaoqing had always had incomparable confidence in her brother. She had never doubted him. Du Xiaoyao stood on Du Xiaoqing's shoulder and did not say anything. There were no elixirs in the vicinity, nor were there any totem or practitioner weapons to eat. She seemed to be extremely helpless. In the crowd, Du Xiaoman was whispering something in the ears of many of the Du family's younger generation. Soon after, many of the Du family's younger generation, led by Du Shui, immediately gathered around eldest Princess Cheng Shengnan. Eldest Princess, I heard that you are one of the strongest young people in the entire empire. Even Brother Xiaofu is not much stronger than you. Can you give us some guidance? I heard that eldest Princess came from a large sect. Eldest Princess, please give us some guidance. The Du family disciples surrounded eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan, hoping to receive some guidance. Actually, I don't know how to give you guidance. How about this? I will give it a try. Maybe I can share my cultivation experience with you. Eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan's delicate face was crimson red. She seemed to be a little embarrassed. However, it did not take long for her to blend in with the Du family disciples. In the end, she generously took out many martial skills and elixirs and gave them to some of the extraordinary disciples. Du Shui's performance was the most extraordinary. She even received a high-grade totem from Cheng Shengnan. The value of the totem was astonishing, which made Du Shui very happy. The surrounding disciples of the same generation were extremely envious. However, when they thought about how they also received martial skills and elixirs, they were already very satisfied. Unknowingly, a day had passed in the drill ground. All of the Du family disciples felt that there was not enough time. For Du Xiaofu and eldest Princess Cheng Shengnan, although this was not a physical task, it was still very tiring. Although Du Xiaofu was tired, he was extremely happy when he thought about how he could let the Du family disciples obtain some benefits and make progress. This would strengthen the Du family branch in the future. As night fell, Du Xiaofu and eldest Princess Cheng Shengnan left the drill ground under the reluctance of the Du family disciples. The bright moon hung in the sky. In the courtyard, Du Xiaofu was lying on the chair of his drunkard father. Looking at the bright moon in the sky, he wondered if his drunkard father was thinking about his mother and sister when he looked at the bright moon in the sky. But now he was thinking about the three of them. Mother, sister, I will definitely become an expert as soon as possible. At that time, I will definitely find you. Du Xiaofu murmured softly. In his hand, he held a gourd of wine and drank a mouthful of strong wine. The wine was left behind by his drunkard father. The gourd was the same gourd that his drunkard father had used for more than 10 years. I heard that you are going to the dark forest tomorrow? Eldest Princess Cheng Xingnan came over in small steps. She gently sat down beside Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu came back to his senses. Looking at the beautiful woman beside him, he asked, "Are you sure you want to go? The dark forest is very chaotic. The place I am going to is even more chaotic. I have nothing to do anyway, so I want to go and take a look." "Why don't you want me to go with you?" Eldest Princess pursed her lips and smiled. "Of course not." Du Xiaofu immediately shook his head. "I am just afraid that you will be in danger. With you, I am not afraid of danger. Just don't bully me." Looking at the purple-robed man in front of her, the eldest princess gently leaned on his shoulder that was not too wide but as hard as iron. Looking at the bright moon in the sky, she said softly, "I want to spend more time with you. After I return to the Divine Light Court, I am afraid that I will not be able to come back in a short period of time. At that time, I will not be able to see you even if I want to." Hearing this, Du Xiaofu once again took a sip of wine, and then put one arm around the woman leaning on his shoulder. He did not say anything, and only quietly looked at the bright moon in the sky. In the sky, there was a night cloud drifting by. The bright moon immediately jumped into the cloud, as if it did not want to disturb the two people leaning against each other in the courtyard. The night passed. The night was coming to an end, and people were looking forward to the dawn. Dawn caught up with the night. A gray ray of light passed through the hazy brown sky, and the sky slowly brightened. Early in the morning, outside the Du family, the little tiger flapped its wings and hovered at a low altitude. Several figures leaped onto its back. Roar! The tiger roar resounded. The giant black tiger flapped its wings and flew away, disappearing in midair like lightning. Outside the Du family, many disciples of the Du family waved their hands, unwilling to leave. They wished they could follow. We must work hard to cultivate. When we are as strong as Brother Yunlong and Sister Xiaoman, we will be able to follow Brother Xiaofu to travel the world and protect our Du family. Looking at the purple-robed youth disappearing into the sky, the eyes of many of the younger generation of the Du family trembled. That is the pride of our Du family. The Du family has already begun to rise. The great elder's old face was filled with radiance. The heavens bless our Du family. The ancestors of the Du family bless us. Many of the elders of the Du family were excited, and their eyes were shining. Du Jixiong retracted his gaze from the distance, then turned around and said to the disciples of the Du family, "Everyone go back. Juniors, cultivate well. Don't be lazy. Today's update has arrived. This is also a new volume of content. The new volume, Moving Unhindered, will begin the official rise of our pig trotters. The main content of this volume revolves around the dark forest and some hidden forces. It will also pave the way for us to go to the middle state. It can be considered as the beginning of the passionate plot of this book. The chapters in these few days are too long, and it is also difficult to write. Although the updates have been maintained, the update time is very slow. Please forgive us, brothers and sisters. I apologize to everyone. Chapter 491. Chaos Demon City was the most chaotic place in the dark forest. It was rumored that Chaos Demon City was even more chaotic than Dark City. However, in this half a year, as the world society gained a foothold in Chaos Demon City, the original chaos gradually ended. The small and medium-sized factions in Chaos Demon City had all been subdued by the world society in this half a year. As for the remaining factions, as long as they were disloyal, they were basically struggling at death's door. They could no longer contend with the world society. It could be said that the biggest overlord in Chaos Demon City was the world society that had appeared out of nowhere. With the Eagle King's Gong Saber and the Medicine King, Yi Wuming, holding the fort, the world society was enough to contend with the one pavilion, one castle, and two sects. However, the world society was also in a lot of trouble now. The demonic beasts in the Chaos Demon City were enough to make the one pavilion, one fort, and 2 sects, the 4 great powers absolutely fearful. And in the Chaos Demon City where these demonic beasts were entrenched, their first target was naturally the world society. Chaos Demon City. Although it was chaotic, in an area dominated by humans, the buildings were continuous and majestic, appearing extremely prosperous. In this half a year, although the world society had wiped out many small and medium-sized factions, it had also made Chaos Demon City even more prosperous. It was said that after the world society gained control of Chaos Demon City, the city became much more stable. In addition, with the Medicine King guarding the city, the world society opened many businesses. It was said that there were even elixirs personally refined by the Medicine King for sale from time to time. This caused everyone to rush into Chaos Demon City like a flock of ducks. The more prosperous Chaos Demon City became, the more lively it became. As time passed, the degree of prosperity even caught up to Dark City. However, it would probably be difficult to compare to Dark City's prosperity in a short period of time. Dusk. The sun set in the west. The amber sunset gradually retreated from the horizon. The dense forest quietly descended in the dusk. The first few stars appeared in the vast sky, and the vast mountain range was completely shrouded in them. In Chaos Demon City, the sunset covered the sky. In the depths of the surrounding mountain range, there would occasionally be a few low and shocking demonic beast roars. Chaos Demon City's area was very large. The city even included a large stretch of mountain range, the mountain peaks stretching into the clouds. The vast Chaos Demon City was actually divided into 2 large areas. The largest area was occupied by the demonic beast forces. The human race could only occupy a relatively small area, but it was still several times larger than the small cities in the outside world. Originally, in Chaos Demon City, it was still possible to see some scenes of humans and beasts coexisting peacefully. The intelligence of some demonic beasts was not below that of humans. Those with high bloodlines among the demonic beasts had intelligence comparable to the top humans. Among the human spirit symbol masters, some of the special elixirs refined by the medicine symbol masters were also of great use to the demonic beasts. The demonic beasts could also use totem weapons and symbol weapons. Some of the territories controlled by the demonic beasts often had a lot of spiritual herbs, heavenly treasures, and so on, which were also things that humans needed. Thus, everyone took what they needed. It wasn't strange to see humans and beasts coexisting in chaotic Demon City. However, with the recent rise of the World Gathering and the rumor that the king of the demonic beasts, the silver-winged demonic condor, had broken through to the Beast King realm, the Nirvana realm, caused the human race and the demonic beasts in Chaos Demon City to instantly be at loggerheads. The demonic beast forces would definitely not allow the human race to dominate Chaos Demon City. Otherwise, the 1 pavilion, 1 castle, and 2 sects would have intervened long ago. Recently, Chaos Demon City was extremely chaotic. Once evening came, many demonic beast forces could be seen to be ready to make a move. They would attack the human forces that were alone. Many people had already suffered misfortune. This also caused the relationship between the demonic beasts and the human race to become even more tense. Outside Chaos Demon City, on the spacious square, it was still dusk. The usually bustling crowd was now completely empty. Everyone returned to the huge Chaos Demon City early in the morning to guard against the attacks of the demonic beasts. Therefore, once evening came, the human race's city gates would be tightly shut to defend against the attacks of the demonic beasts. All the humans gathered in the city. There were also powerful cultivators, so the demonic beasts did not dare to take the risk to attack the city. Dusk came, and the entire Chaos Demon City was enveloped by the red setting sun. Outside Chaos Demon City, a man and 2 women slowly walked over. The afterglow of the setting sun flashed past their bodies. The man and the 2 women were both extremely young. The 2 women were breathtaking. One of them was a woman in a tight dress who was graceful and provocative. She had a noble temperament. The other was a young lady in a long green dress. She was elegant and pure. Her big eyes were like stars twinkling. The young man looked to be around 17 or 18 years old, but he was extremely eye-catching. He had a resolute and determined face, and his eyes were bright and clear. He carried something that looked like a purple broadsword on his back, and there was a little golden macaque standing on his shoulder. There was also a black kitten following behind him. With his appearance, it was impossible not to be eye-catching. This group of three was none other than Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoqing, First Princess Cheng Xingnan, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Tiger. They had hurried over from the Stone City. This Chaos Demon City is really strange. Why are the city gates closed so early? First Princess Cheng Xingnan looked at the tightly shut city gates in the middle of the towering city walls in front of her. There was a puzzled look in her eyes. She had naturally heard about the chaos in the Dark Forest and the chaos in Chaos Demon City. However, the current situation seemed to be different from the rumors. Du Xiaofu frowned. He was also very puzzled. Although he had never been to Chaos Demon City, it was not difficult to feel that something was not right from the tense and strange atmosphere in the surroundings. I didn't expect there to be a seal array on the city walls. It should be a 5-star seal array. Du Xiaoyao stood on Du Xiaofu's shoulder and looked at the city walls. As long as there was a seal array's aura, it naturally could not escape his detection. Please open the city gates. We want to enter the city. Under the city gates, Du Xiaofu raised his head and looked at the city walls. There were many figures flashing. Many people were standing on the city walls. The city gates are already closed. It's too late to enter the city. Come early tomorrow. I hope you can still survive tonight. On the city walls, a bald man in tight clothes looked down at Du Xiaofu's group and said loudly, I advise you to hide as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't live past tonight. Why can't we open the city gates? Du Xiaofu frowned and raised his head to ask the bald man. There are rules. In order to prevent demonic beasts from invading, seal arrays have already been set up on the city walls. Could it be that we can only close the seal array for you? What if the demonic beasts invade? The bald man looked at Du Xiaofu's group and shouted, You should quickly find a place to hide. Those two girls are quite pretty. It would be a pity if they were eaten alive by those demonic beasts. Why don't you let me bring those two girls in? It would be a pity if they were eaten alive by the demonic beasts. I'm afraid that you won't be able to find such trash in the entire Dark Forest. What a pity. On the city wall, a lot of boorish laughter could be heard. In the Dark Forest, this was not strange. However, when the first Princess Cheng Xingnan heard these rude words, she felt a little uncomfortable. She frowned slightly and her gaze turned cold. Big brother, there are a lot of demonic beasts coming. Du Xiaoqing was also unhappy with the rude words. She snorted and was about to do something when her innocent eyes suddenly turned to look at the vast mountain range behind her. Walala! Not long after Du Xiaoqing finished speaking, in the distant sky behind them, a vast sea of trees rose and fell. The forest swayed and the ground trembled. Not good. Those demonic beasts are here again. Could it be that they want to attack the city? Quick, inform the experts. Those demonic beasts are here again, and are causing quite a commotion. Now, those 3 youngsters won't be able to escape. Those evil beasts are too hateful. On the city wall, when they saw the mountains in front of them shaking and the vast sea of trees rising and falling, their gazes turned solemn. Roar, roar. Ayo, ayo. In a short period of time, the sea of trees was filled with the roars of beasts. A large number of ferocious beasts flapped their wings and flew out. A violent wind swept across the sky, sweeping up countless stones and dust. Some of the ferocious beasts at the front had sharp claws that could pierce through mountains and split rocks. On the ground, a terrifying group of beasts swept out, almost forming a beast tide. The ferocious beasts at the front were as large as courtyards. They had frightening fangs, and their eyes were emitting various runes. Wherever they passed, the earth shook and the mountains shook, sending gravel flying. The terrifying beast tide suddenly surged out, sweeping over in an instant. There were no less than a few thousand of them. This was definitely a huge and terrifying lineup. It was enough to make one's heart tremble. The numerous gazes on the city wall saw the densely packed group of demonic beasts rushing over. Some of them were even taller than the city wall. In the sky, there were also terrifying, ferocious beasts that covered the sky like dark clouds. It made one's hair stand on end. If such a large group of demonic beasts were to rush into the city, it would definitely be a terrifying disaster. Roar, roar! The demonic beasts roared. The sound waves were like thunder. For a moment, the aura was terrifying. The cries of the beasts rose and fell one after another. It seemed that the number of demonic beasts was increasing, forming a larger group of demonic beasts. However, this large group of demonic beasts seemed to be afraid of the humans gathered in the city. After rushing over, they gathered outside the city wall and did not dare to attack the city. However, there were also demonic beasts that immediately fixed their gazes on Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoqing, and the eldest princess, Cheng Xingnan. Numerous ferocious beasts' eyes shot out murderous glints, locking onto Du Xiaofu and the rest.